Well, hello, my lovelies, my Cooperites, my friends, my enemies. I don't have any enemies, I guess, but hello to everybody out there in the Cooper world. It's been a while. I realized I haven't done one of these in over a month, I think, something like that. So it's been a minute. So I'm glad to be here with you. So hello to everybody. Join Jen's in the chat. Nicole Legg, Jay, Chrissy. Hello, Chrissy, our voice actor. We missed you, Ryan, from Tina Mucklow. Thank you so much, Tina. Been great. Yes, you're the ghost of Walter Recca, someone says. Howdy. Hey, Chris. Hello to BBG in Cornwall. How you doing? More from the UK. All right. Winston, Uncle Winston, everybody's in the chat. So, stool boom. All right. So, I don't know what to talk about really today, but not too much going on in the vortex. I released my rack straw video. I never thought I would do, well, I knew I would do a rack straw video at some point, but you know, he's not quite as, you know, I don't know. What do you think? Who is more annoying of a suspect? Is it McCoy or Rackstraw? I mean, I think that I actually don't know who annoys me, what grift annoys me more. Because it's the McCoy grift, I guess, because at least the Rackstraw grift, I would say at least the Rackstraw grift gave us some stuff. You know, the Rackstraw grift provided the FBI files through Mark Zaid and gave us some good comedy too, right? I mean, the Rackstraw documentary that ends with Colbert sitting there doing this in front of everybody, and his partner, I forget the guy's name. We should get him at CooperCon. The guy with the white hair who's like, you know what? Yeah, I agree. It's not Rackstraw after all this. So I thought that's pretty funny. Yeah, DB Cooper says Grider maybe tilts it to McCoy being more annoying. Yeah, Grider is the problem, I think. I mean, the Colbert, the Rackstraw stuff is annoying, but like I said, at least there's some comedy there. The whole thing with, no, Grider's not a felon. Grider's not a felon. He was arrested for something involving a plane. They claimed he tried to run over an agent a ground agent or something like that. But Grider is not. Yeah, Grider's Grider. Hi from North Korea. Okay, that's funny. No, but yeah, the Grider, gosh, I don't know. The Rackstraw gave us some comedy. I was just thinking the other day about, if you watch that documentary with that guy who takes a lie detector test and he's like, Dick Briggs told me this. Well, okay, it doesn't make it true. So you take a lie detector test. It'd be like if you guys took a lie detector test because of something I said to you guys. But okay, well, that's what I said to you, but what's the point of that, right? Carlson's like, he passed a lie detector test that Dick Briggs told him that he was DB Cooper or whatever. It's like, okay, that's great. So that's hearsay. So okay, all you're doing is proving that you believe that someone told you something. It doesn't prove that the truthfulness of his statement. As suspects, they're both pretty poor. I mean, yeah, as suspects, they're poor. But the thing about Rackstraw is he really does seem like the type who would have been a copycat. You know, I mean, maybe he would have. That really just seems right up his alley. He did have a history of pretty audacious crimes. So, you know, this guy didn't care about anything. So, okay, that's fair. That's a fair point, Black Dodge. Who says that McCoy is more annoying because he makes lurkers and newbies think that the case is actually solved. Well, yeah, I suppose so. Because a lot of the stories out there are like, oh, DNA, they got his DNA, they got the parachute, whatever. At least with Rackstraw, it was, oh, we've got 150 pieces of circumstantial evidence. That sort of stuff. So, but yeah, Rackstraw is annoying just for many reasons. But I was glad to make a video on him. Just an interesting character. And like I said in the video, Rackstraw is so cute about everything, right? He's just so they say you could have been D.B. Cooper. Could have been. Like, that's just not what people say when they're actually being prosecuted or being thought about for having committed a capital crime. It's just stupid. Cooper naive. This is good. I like that, Lou. That's a good way to say something. Cooper naive. Most people who are Cooper naive that pushed McCoy have no idea there were other copycats. That's exactly right. And as I've said, it makes sense if that's all you know about, or that McCoy did the same crime. Then okay, it must be the same guy. But you have lots of different copycat hijackers out there. All right, Steve Hart. Hello, Steve Hart. Question, Jay, is it possible Cooper did the jump before or after? Obviously not the McCoy jump, but one of the others. Any others fit Cooper physically? No. Are you talking about the other copycats? No. Well, Flyjack would have you think it's Heinemann, but that's the only copycat other than McCoy. I mean, what's interesting about McNally is that they thought that Mac, for a brief time, could have been Cooper as well. He said that they got beat up a little bit. He said that he got beat up a little bit by the agents. Because remember, the agents back then, they picked up McNally in Detroit. They weren't Norjack agents. They didn't know anything particularly important. All they had was the sketch, and the sketch looks like a young guy, and McNally was a young guy, so they kind of thought it was Mac for a while. And as I've said before, if you talk to Mac about Cooper and even insinuate that he was Cooper, he kind of gets defensive about it. He doesn't like that question. It's one of the few times you can make Mac angry is by insinuating that he was Cooper. He's not a fan of that, because he did spend 38 years in prison for a similar crime. So, all right, was definitely Rackstraw, McCoy, or Kenny Christensen. But no, Jay. No, none of the other copycats are good matches in my opinion. Wow, a super chat of 20 pounds. How about that? Hi, found you when you did the Pat Brown shakedown. Just to let you know it was me. I am DB Cooper. Well, thank you. You can give me. I appreciate the 20-pound super chat. I really do appreciate that. That's wonderful. How is Mac? Thank you, the Weasel. I really do. That's very generous of you. How is Mac's health? He's good. I talked to Mac last week. Called him, and he. It's funny. Mac's memory is so different than some of the stuff you read in the paper. I was telling Mac. I was talking to Mac the other day about how they pulled several people out of his line to. They pulled several people out of the line that he was in to board the plane to do their profile checks. These people were called selectees. That's all airport security was back then. Is if you looked suspicious enough, they'd pull you out of line and they'd make you go through the metal detector. But back then they called them magnometers. I think that's what they called them. And I mentioned that to Mac, and Mac said, "Hell no, it didn't happen. Nobody was pulled out of my line. I would have remembered that." It's like, well, Mac, it was in the paper the next day. Bullshit. It's like Sharon, Mac's stewardess, told the paper the next day that when the plane hit, or when the Cadillac crashed into Mac's plane, that it knocked his wig askew. And Sharon said she reached over and straightened his wig out. I remember I told Mac that. He goes, "Nobody fucking touched me." It's like, okay, Mac, well, I don't think Sharon was lying about that the next day, but nobody touched me on that plane. It's like, okay, Mac. But Stillboom says, any update on Mac's movie coming out? Yes, it's in the works. Can't say for sure, but I don't want to give too much away, but we're trying to get it to premiere at CooperCon this year. So, and I am privy to, I have seen the trailer already. It's from my eye. It was sent for my eyes only by the director, and it looks very cool. I'm very excited about it. And we're going to maybe try to have the premiere. They're trying to figure out if they want the premiere at CooperCon or if they want the premiere in St. Louis where the crime happened. So we're kind of in discussions about that. But we're almost positive it will be aired at CooperCon. and Mac should be there this year. So that'll be fun. And my book hopefully will be out by then. I don't know. It's finished, but I have a couple of literary agents who was, oh, the trailer is public now. Is it? I wasn't aware of that, Packer. Didn't know they released it, so I guess look up the trailer at some point. Hi, Oracle. Yeah, the premiere of CooperCon would be really cool. I wish I could do that. Are you sure that the Packer? Let me know. Where did you see that was public? That the trailer was public? Because I could show it here. Let me know. Whatever happened to Not If You Understand? The Tina Mucklow movie. I saw one picture of it. I saw one picture from the set of Tina Mucklow. Looks good. Yeah, we could do a trailer reaction live if it's available. I'll do I'll upload the thing for sure. We can watch it together, but Not If You Understand seems to be on a hiatus of sorts, which is sad. No, I mean, I've got it. Yeah, I mean, Packer, I've got it. I mean, I can, I should be able to upload it myself, actually. If it's I don't know how big that file is, but yeah, if it's on his website, then I guess he has released it. Then that's good. So let me try to find that for you guys and see about maybe I can live stream that for y'all. Let's see. All right, give me a second, folks. Okay. If I can download this or no, I can't download that. Well, okay. Let me see if I can. I may be able to do a screen share or something like that. Let me try and do this for you folks. Okay, well, good. So it is on the website. That's good because I don't want to. So I don't want to step on the fella's toes there. So okay, let me try to give me a second. Let me try to do this. Screen share thing. Let's see. Is this the right one? Sorry, folks. I'm trying to do this. Give me 1 second. As they say, talk amongst yourselves. Okay, all right, here. Okay, I think I'll get it. Hang on 1 second. I'm sorry, folks. This is all live. We'll do it live. You know that who is that? Bill O'Reilly. We'll do it live. All right. Sorry, this is terrible pod, as they say. All right. Let me see. All right. All right. Okay, so here we go. Can y'all see that? Yeah, y'all. Okay, so it's kind of wonky looking, but I'll try it. Hopefully y'all can hear it too. Let me know if you hear it. If you can't hear it, yell at me.
It was an ordinary flight turned extraordinary when a man in black, registered as D.B. Cooper, made a bomb threat.
Can you hear me on the headphone?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. It was the D.B. Cooper case that changed my life. I thought, that's the way to do a score. Don't panic, do what I say, and follow my instructions. I don't know that they've got 5 sharpshooters on me.
And it went through my mind, we can jump him.
I could feel the air going through my fingers. And I was thinking, boy, this is balls.
That car took off towards that airplane, and it was very, very clear to all of us that it's going to crash into that plane.
Martin McNally meets another skyjacker.
Garrett Trapnell was evil.
Cut! Let's get the hell out of here. Whew.
All right. So did y'all see that? Hopefully that didn't just waste. Hopefully it wasn't an hour. Hopefully it wasn't. Okay, y'all saw it. Good. Good. Yeah, it does look good, doesn't it? So we're kind of talking to the producers soon to hopefully get that premiered at CooperCon, or at least shown at CooperCon, if not premiered there. And hopefully we'll get Mac back. And I would really like to get Mac there along with Rob Hetty, the other copycat who's alive still. So, yeah, folks, if you don't know Mac's story, I mean, like if you don't know McNally's story, then it is not hyperbolic to say that if Mac had never been caught, if there was also the mystery of Robert Wilson, D.B. Cooper would be an afterthought. Like, the D.B. Cooper hijacking is dull as dirt. Dull as dirt compared to Mac's hijacking. I mean, it's not even, it's like, you know, comparing some French melodrama from 1940s to like Saving Private Ryan or something. Like it is, they're not even the same sport of hijacking. Mac's hijacking was absolutely nuts. And also the fact that his later life was nuts. I mean, multiple prison. I mean, look, Mac was a participant in 4 hijackings, 1 helicopter hijacking and 3 commercial airline hijackings. So Mac is the American skyjacker for sure. Oh, Mac always takes. Look, Mac will take anybody's calls if you get his number. The best thing about Mac is that I don't know if it's because he spent so long in prison, but his hours are strange. Yeah, I mean, his hours are strange. So I think he wakes up at like 6 in the afternoon and doesn't go to bed till like 7 a.m. or something like that. So you have to call him at weird hours. But whenever you call Mac, the way he answers the phone is, "Hold on." He goes, "Hold on." And you're usually treated to about 10 seconds of like court TV in the background as he looks for his remote. And then he mutes his TV because he has to like mute his TV. But Mac loves watching court TV. If you didn't know, McNally actually overturned. Mac represented himself. Mac wrote like a 500-page legal appeal on 2 of his hijackings, and the 7th Court of Appeals agreed with Mac. So McNally, I believe F. Lee Bailey may have called McNally like the best jailhouse lawyer in American history. He wrote a brief, handwrote a 500-something page brief, sent it to the 7th Court of Appeals, bound in shoestring, in like masking tape, and won his appeal, representing himself as a lawyer. So Mac spent 38 years behind bars, Swan, and it's a miracle he got out at all. Yes, Chrissy, that is 100% true. She says, I can't believe there hasn't been a movie about him already. 100%. I mean, look, Mac ran for president while in prison. Like I said, hijackings, escapes, all kinds of things. I mean, he spent, like I said, I think my favorite thing about Mac is that he wrote about a year after the hijacking, he wrote the president of American Airlines asking for a refund on half his flight because Mac bought a round trip ticket and didn't get to use the last wing of his flight, so he wanted a refund. He actually wrote a letter to the American Airlines saying, "Hey, I want a refund." What a troll! But hey, how do you do 38 years? Well, the federal prison system doesn't like when you try to keep escaping. I'll say that. Mac had 2 legitimate prison escapes, and sadly, people died. One of the people who was trying to get him out died. Was killed. Was shot. So Mac will admit he was not a good person, and he was a selfish person. He just wanted to get out of prison. So, but a big part of that movie is going to be about Garrett Trapnell. Garrett Trapnell is, if you know John Douglas, the Mind Hunter on HBO, and the guy who basically invented criminal profiling for the FBI. John Douglas has a book that he wrote, and he said in his book that he interviewed thousands of serial killers and whatever, and that Garrett Trapnell was the most devious and charismatic individual he ever came across. And so, Mac befriended Garrett, and Garrett took advantage of Mac, and Garrett took advantage of a lot of people. Garrett Trapnell's crime sprees, what he used to do is he was such a genius at faking insanity, because he knew that, you don't fake insanity by just drooling and, like theatrics. He knew exactly how to, make the psychologists who were interviewing him for competency for trial, he knew exactly how to make them think he was actually crazy. And I believe that the book about Trapnell is called The Fox is also crazy, I think. Okay. Packer just sent me Ryan, my hair is thicker. It is not thicker, I assure you. Maybe it is. I don't know. Finasteride is what I would say. Actually, Packer just sent me another clip. Maybe we'll show this one too. Apparently, it's a different clip. Is this the one? Okay. Here, we'll try this one, folks. We'll see what this one looks like. All right, here we go. Maybe share my screen. Here we go.
When he got on a plane in Portland, Oregon last night, he was just another passenger. But today, the description on one wire service, master criminal.
When I first heard about the D.B. Cooper case that changed my life, I considered that's the way to do a score.
There's another hijacking in progress tonight.
Just grab a weapon, grab a note, go on a plane, put on a wig, and order all the stuff you need. Parachutes, money, and bail out.
So rolling, speeding. So let's start at the beginning.
I do
We
remember.
could get shot in the back.
I jumped on top of him and tried to grab his hands because he had a bomb.
Everything was focused on getting out of prison, getting on the lam. So he came in my cell and he says, "How would you like to leave here in a helicopter?"
Well, all right. So, okay. So we'll go back to where I disappeared, didn't I? There's my beautiful face. Okay. All right. So, I'm going to go to some questions real quick. Burger Guitars says, question, in your latest video, you say that they got Ragstraw's palm print and compared it to Cooper's. Do they still have Cooper's palm print? Yes. I mean, assuming it's Cooper's palm print, right? They feel confident that it is. I mean, they feel good enough that it is. They felt good enough that it was Cooper's palm print that they eliminated suspects solely because the palm print didn't match. Several decent suspects even Alvin Curtis Hartley, not a great suspect, but I know they eliminated him because of that. They may have eliminated Orville Lyons because of that. I don't know. We haven't gotten all of Lyons' files yet, but obviously they eliminated him for some reason. And it may have been the palm print. But yeah, the palm print's another way that we believe that Cooper didn't wipe down his prints, that he really was obfuscating his fingerprints somehow, is because they found partial fingerprints around his seat, but a complete palm print, right? So if he had swabbed down everywhere he had sat, then the palm print should also be obscured a little bit, but it's not. So they have a lot of faith in that palm print. As I said, I mean, with Rackstraw, they were literally contacting the U.S. Attorney's Office saying, can we like hold him down and make him like just by force make him put his palm print? So I think the U.S. attorneys would have said no. I don't think you can. I'm pretty sure you cannot compel a person to provide a palm print. I should know this as a criminal defense lawyer, but I'm pretty sure you can't. They'll just hold you indefinitely until you give them your fingerprints. Okay. Now palm prints are a different matter, but fingerprints or your name, like Ted Braden, when Braden was arrested for DUI in 2003 or something, he just didn't have any ID on him, and he didn't tell anybody his name, and he just sat there for I don't know. Eventually, something budged, something gave. I don't know how they figured him out, but if you don't give them your name or your fingerprints, they'll just make you sit there. So, but they can't by force make you do that. But to the best of my knowledge. So they should have McCoy's print, and that should shut Grider down. Bruh, everything I have ever said should shut Grider down. Nothing will shut Grider down. Okay. But yes, I mean, look, they compared palm prints, photographs. I mean, McCoy is a dead suspect. No doubt about it. Probably super glue. But yeah, nothing. Literally, I mean, McCoy himself could the specter of McCoy could come to Grider in his Grider wearing his McCoy pajama pants with little feeties, with little foot pajamas. I'm sure Grider's waddling around his house. The specter of, the ghost of Christmas, the ghost of hijacking past, Richard McCoy could go, I was not D.B. Cooper. And Grider would say, oh, you're a liar. It's a conspiracy. So no, McCoy himself could say it. And Grider. Yeah, Grider attacked me recently in one of my comment sections. Just suddenly showed up. I was like, Ryan, you're an idiot. You have no one likes you. You have 4,000 subscribers and I have 100,000. I was like, okay, well, that's great. I mean, your channel's existed for 17 years. Mine's existed for a year. Mine is a niche topic. Yours is aviation, which is broad. Like, I don't care how many subscribers I have, Dan. But no, he was like, no one cares about you, and stop stuttering. You talk too fast. Okay, Dan. So at least I haven't been arrested. Never had a restraining order against me. Never been sued for $1 million. I've never been sued and had $1 million judgment against me, which was overturned. But still, I've never, knock on wood, been sued, been arrested, had a restraining order against me. But yeah, stop stuttering, Ryan. Okay, great. Yes, McCoy, yes. There were eyewitnesses that said it wasn't him. Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't even need to go through the list there. Watch one of my videos. Not just the eyewitnesses. I mean, the palm print, if you believe hair microp, the hair didn't match. The palm print didn't match. McCoy was probably went to class that day. The FBI believes McCoy went to class the day of the hijacking 650 miles away from where Cooper was. Americans pronounce niche as niche. What did I say? Niche? Did I say niche or niche? Niche? I am a knight who says niche and niche. McCoy is bad, but 100% not the worst suspect. Of course, yeah, I agree. I mean, McCoy at least did it, right? I would say the worst suspect ever was probably Vincent Peterson. As far as actually having their name provided to the media, I would probably say Vincent Peterson. Even though Rekha is about as big of a clown as you can get for a suspect, at least Rekha was a skydiver and robbed stores. I don't know if he's a bank robber. I don't think Recca robbed a bank, but I think Recca robbed a Bob's Big Boy. Pretty sure, but Recca was a criminal. And Recca was a skydiver. A good skydiver. Vince Peterson, as I've said, if you look up Vincent Peterson online, the only thing you'll find on newspapers.com is Vincent Peterson writing an op-ed saying that children should wear their life vests when they go on the lake. Like, a nice guy. Okay, Cooper, not the best guy. I think, I'll tell Eric that. Hell, I mean, I called Eric the day that Eric announced Vincent Peterson. I was like, oh, God. I mean, because I looked him up real quick, and I can't remember if we came across him when we were going through the Rimker employees. I think that we must have me and Nikki and Chris, we may have come across Vince, but I can't really recall. It was a while back. I have a bad memory it's weird. You would think I have a great memory, but I have a terrible memory on a lot of things. But I remember calling Eric and saying, Eric, are you aware that Vincent Peterson was missing half of his finger, like on his 1942 draft card, meaning he still was missing the finger in 1971? Eric says, changes nothing. I was like, come on, Eric. I mean, if you're missing half of a finger, okay, he's like, well, I think Vincent Peterson, because Vince parted his hair on the wrong way too. And Eric would say, well, it's easy to, for disguise, you can part your hair the other way. I'm like, okay, well, you're going to do that, but you're not going to cover up your missing finger, by wearing a glove or something. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, James says, 0 public POIs to date have me even somewhat convinced they are Cooper. Yeah. I mean, there are a few plausibles. I'm thinking, I can't give anything away because I think, legally bound at this point not to give anything away. But there is a suspect that is going to come down the pipeline eventually. I'm thinking he's going to be revealed at CooperCon. And he is probably the best suspect I've ever seen. In fact, if I was to, people say, what are the percentages you give suspects? I'm like, I like Skip Hall. I mean, I think Skip has problems. I think Skip's, in most pictures of Skip, I believe he's a handsome guy. And I don't think Cooper was handsome. Skip was capable of it. A summer of steroids. This guy was 50, the new guy. But Skip, as I said, Skip on my matrix. Skip checks the most boxes, and this guy's pretty damn good too. I'll say that. Okay. I think Eric will be played by Brad Pitt in the movie if the Cooper thing is ever solved. Seriously. Eric's not homely. Eric has a face for TV for sure. No doubt about it. I'll tell you who has a great voice for radio, and here's a plug for him. Black Box Radio Online. Okay, Ned DeHaan has a wonderful voice. His voice is so good it sounds like it's an AI voice almost. I like Ned DeHaan's voice. But yeah, Eric's not homely. Eric's a good-looking guy. But Eric's Eric. Like, I like Eric a lot. I consider Eric a good friend, actually, these days. But Eric's a showman, no doubt about it. Eric's a showman. But no, Ned is our voice of Cooper. Ned is a really good. Ned is very. I wish Ned. I have a lot of viewers. Black Box Radio Online. Ned's really good. Ned also does Zodiac and Jack the Ripper stuff. So if you're into that stuff, then do that. So I don't think that. What's happening in the chat here? My fellow Mississippian Drew Daniels getting up in somebody's business. What are we even talking about? Okay, I guess this. James Filet Mignon Filet Le Mignon, James Filet Le Mignon, says the tie was left on purpose to send a message. No. I would say that it's a brain fart. I think Cooper just brain farted. I think that he just had other things on his mind. And as I've said a million times, any men out there who have worn a tie, what is the first thing you do when you take your tie off? You throw that damn thing on the nearest flat surface or lumpy surface, as a couch or a bed or a dresser. It's almost an instinct to do that. And I feel like Cooper just did that. I think he probably, obviously he meant, I would believe he meant to take it with him, clearly. The guy took an empty matchbook with him. So I would think he would take his article of clothing. But I think that was just a brain fart on his part. It was dark back there when he did that, I guess. He may have taken his tie off earlier, and I'm not sure. He may have taken his light off before, or his tie off after or before the lights went off. The lights didn't go off in the plane until he sent Tina to the front. Okay. But yeah, niche. I said niche and niche. I'm a knight who says niche. I don't know what I said. Okay, we want to talk about Pitbull. Okay, greetings from DC. Have you ever visited D.B. Cooper files in the National Archives? There's not going to be any D.B. Cooper files in the National Archives. The D.B. Cooper files that exist are going to be the ones that they're releasing online, the Seattle things. Eric has had at least 3 suspects that he was 99% sure was Cooper. Man, the worst. Good Lord. Do y'all remember that one? Man, I wonder if I have his, if I have that one guy. Eric, bless his heart, and I'm a Southerner, I can say bless his heart, and it can mean whatever you want it to mean. So you interpret that yourselves, people. But Eric, bless his heart, had that one video, I had that one suspect. I know I can find this guy. I think his name was Straude, was it? Was it Straude? Let me find this guy. I was like, Eric, this is literally, like, you went to the press with this guy. I got to find this guy. This guy looked like Mr. Magoo. And not D.B. Cooper. Oh, where is he? I'll find him. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, Strand. That's it. Here he goes. Strand. Let me show you this guy's photograph. It's not a very good photograph of him. Strand. Okay. I'm going to find this, people. Y'all give me a second, because this is like, Eric, what are you thinking? And the fact is, like, look, I don't like to name people's names. Like, it was a thing with Milton Vordal, right? So with Milton Vordal, we told the family, look, we're not going to, the reason why Milton Vordal is not on Wikipedia or whatever is because there's no articles about Milton Vordal out there, because we told the family we weren't going to do that. That we weren't going to that we were going to keep him within the vortex, essentially. And that was what we did with Vordal. Right? Okay, Strand was his name. All right. I gotta find this. Give me a second. Oh, hell. Okay. Strand, posted by Eric. There we go. Thank you, Packer. Oh, Packer says that guy, like, what is that guy's name, Packer, that you think he looks like? I found that. Here we go. I found it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. This photograph was from 1965 of this guy. And I'm just like, what on earth? How is this D.B. Cooper? Okay, all right, here we go. I'm uploading it, people, so bear with me. I've got several of these to upload. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So Eric went to the news with this guy. This guy in the middle. This is 1966. Okay. Guy in the middle, John Strand. Okay. Mr. Magoo is Cooper, apparently. White man, old white man, by the way. Here he is again on the far left. And Packer Jack. Who is it, Packer? What's that guy's name? Packer thinks it looks like this guy here on the right. What is that guy's name on the right there? But yeah, this is Roger Strand. This also Roger Strand, or Robert Strand, whatever that guy's name was. He was the insult to Mr. Magoo. Now Strand, and he owned a steel company. Literally owned a steel company in 1971. Please tell me why this dude in the middle who owns a steel company is hijacking an aircraft and jumping out of it. Right. I mean, looks like the Six Flags dancing guy. Yeah. Okay. I think you said Tina was Richard Deacon. That's it. Richard. Insult to Mr. Magoo. Mel Cooley is Packer Jack. I think you said Tina was 5'10". No, Tina's 5'8". Her passport says 5'8". And I don't know if I have Tina's passport to show you people. A few people have never seen Tina's passport. I think I've got Tina's passport somewhere. Let's see. Do I have Miss Tina's passport? There. Oh, I have her passport photo. Oh, come on. Well, if anybody's interested, here's our passport photo. Isn't she cute? But it's actually from the year of the hijacking, I believe, 1971. But no. Tina's born on July 4th, 49. It's her birthday. But yeah, her passport says 5'8", and she told the FBI the night of the hijacking in her 302, she says, I'm 5'8", because they asked her. Here we go. It's deep thoughts here, people. Deep thoughts. Raquel. Hope I'm saying your name right, Raquel. I think this case is dead at this point. So the question is, why is there still so much interest? It's just going to be unsolved. I'm not there yet. Raquel Saeed. Why is there interest? Well, I mean, there's interest in Jack the Ripper, and that's 100 and what? 30-something years old by now. There's interest in those like devices that they found on the bottom of the ocean that were in Greek or Roman ships. There's mysteries of the pyramids. I mean, thank you. There's the correct answer there. Here's the correct answer for why it is so fascinating. Still, I like it because it's unsolved. That's precisely right. Why does Ryan never play the guitar? Oh, my guitar back there. Because I don't really play guitar much. I have like my fingers aren't very long, so I have a trouble. I can never. I'm a drummer, and I can't put drums back there. So. Oh, no habla inglés, a Tina Bar question. No habla inglés. What's the best theory for the money that was found buried at the river? There isn't one, my opinion. I don't know. Like if I literally had to like the pistol to my head and I had to like come up with something for Tina Bar, I would say that Cooper gave money to. Cooper had already shown that he had the capacity to be generous by offering Tina probably $2,000, probably a packet. And I don't think he offered Tina a bundle, but probably gave her a packet. So he offered Tina $2,000. So he's being generous, and maybe he offered Flo and Alice also packets of Packer. You distracted me, Packer. I lost my thing. So Cooper, he may have offered a packet to Flo and Alice too. Personally, I think he only offered them his drink money, his change, his $18 from his drink. But Alice has since said that he offered them a packet of money as well, but we'll see. But anyway, Cooper proved he was generous. I maybe have some scenario where Cooper hitchhikes with somebody, and as he's leaving the car, he tosses them a bundle of money, or Cooper leaves money in their car as a thank you or something like that. And whoever found the money in their car goes, oh shit. When once they realize what it was, like the next day, they go, this is Cooper money. They're driving down the road. They throw it out the window. Perhaps they are driving down Lower River Road, and where Lower River Road gets near Caterpillar Island, it's very narrow. So you could literally toss out from your car, and it would land in the river between Caterpillar Island and Washington State, I guess, or the mainland, or whatever you call the mainland. And then something pushes it down a little bit toward Tina Bar. I don't know. How far is Tina Bar from the road? Maybe 100 yards from Lower River Road, maybe? Not. I mean, I've been there. I mean, maybe 100, maybe. Max, are you just trying? Max says 100% Ted Braden, Wrecker, or Ragstraw. I mean, or Lakeich. Name all of them, or Catalano, or Langseth, or Dr. James Roman, or Dick Lepsey, or Dick Briggs. I heard a funny story that somebody was watching that show with their mother, and they heard Dick Briggs, and the mom was like, Dick Biggs? Dick Big? No, Dick Briggs. Yeah, Braden's probably too short. Braden's probably too short. Yeah, yes, TK, it is a great mystery how the money got there. We just don't know. And for those of you who didn't see it, I did a overlay. This isn't totally accurate, but I did an overlay of what the money. If you're not in my group, official Facebook group on Facebook, it's called the DB Cooper Official Group. Please join. We've got all you have to do is. It's a request, but you have to request that you say, click join, then you will just refresh your page, and you're automatically in. There's nothing needs approval on that. But let me try and find this money. This isn't completely accurate because some of the bills are bigger than the others, but this is how much of the bills, probably on average, maybe a little bit less than average, but this is how much of the money was left. You can see on this photograph here, when you compare the money to a real $20 bill, right there. So you can see, they were pretty. The money was pretty jacked up. By the time of the hijacking, there wasn't really a ton of it left, actually, if you look at the condition of it. Let's see. So that's what's left there. And there's another photograph here that shows the money pretty well. If I can find that for you guys. This photo here shows probably the most amount of money. Not a great photograph, but this is probably the best shot of the money in its fullest form there. So yeah, I mean, they're not all that size, but probably half of the volume of the money is gone. Professor Hodor says that the money was the payout to get to the getaway driver. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe so. Could have been. So it was there for a very long time. I think so. I mean, yeah, Steve's right. Yep. So get away with that. Yeah, somebody's asking, and Steve is our local. Steve lives in that area. I think Steve lives in. Steve, you live in Clark County, don't you? Steve says Tina Bar is close to a road, but 15 miles from the drop zone by road. Yeah, I mean, Cooper didn't get there that night. I mean, Cooper is not going to get there. Okay. How far was Cooper from town in that forest, Ryan? What forest are we talking about? He may not have even landed in a forest for all we know. Ed Thurman, if you're out there, I just got a notification that you tried to join my group and you're in the group. So thank you, Ed Thurman. Okay. Maybe more money's buried in other locations, perhaps. Ryan, could you please explain how the money was found? Many believe that it was found essentially bound together. Okay, so, and thank you, Lynn Novasol, for joining the group. Thank you. Okay, so it was 3 stacks. Okay, so I don't really wish I had. It's such a pain to open my money bag and get my money out. But yeah, okay. Steve Hart lives in Battleground, so close to ground zero, perhaps. Anyway, Brian said he distinctly remembers pulling out 3 packets. Okay, so he reached in, he put his arm over the money. Okay, so when Brian, people have this idea that Brian was digging in the ground, but he was not. When Brian, I have a photo, I think, of Brian somewhere digging through the, don't I have a photo of Brian? I thought I had a photo of Brian. Oh man, where was it? I missed it. Anyway, I thought I had a picture of Brian. It's a bummer. But no, Brian, when Brian was, Brian didn't dig into the ground, okay? Brian was swiping, he was sweeping with his hand over, because Tina Bar had been, some cattle got loose. All right, so a cattle herd got loose, and like a day or two earlier, and they had, their hoofs had messed up the beach a little bit, so the beach was kind of pockmarked. So Brian was to smooth out a spot for his dad to put the firewood down. And when he did that, his arm hit something, and he just grabbed it and pulled it out. And there were kind of sort of maybe loosely attached to each one, maybe it was 3 packets. So there were 3 it was $6,000, and it was 3 packets of $2,000 a piece. The problem is, the big problem with it is that it's our understanding that the money was delivered in 5-packet bundles, or 5-packet bundles of $10,000. So five packets of $2,000 bundled together, right? But we only found 3 packets together on Tina Bar. So unfortunately, if they had photographed the money or something before giving it to Cooper, we would know for sure. Because hell, that would be one hell of a clue, would it not? If we knew that every single bit in that bag was a 5-packet bundle, well then where the hell, but that would almost confirm that Cooper lived, right? It would confirm that it had been rebanded, or that 2 packets had been removed at a later date. And then some will say, well, maybe that's the money that, maybe Cooper reached in the bag and pulled out packets to give to the girls. And that happens to be the bundle that washed up on shore or made it to the shore. God, it really stinks. It really stinks to not know that. The tip money, Packer says the tip money when he offered each stew was 1 pack. Yeah, he offered. I mean, I personally, I hate to. This is the problem when you have to kind of figure out things. Alice Hancock told Richard Tusaw in the early '80s, and Alice Hancock has told investigators subsequently. I know Pat Boland has talked to her, but Alice has said that Cooper, when they were leaving, that Cooper said, "Hey, wait," and he gave them or offered them, Alice and Flo, packets of money, and they said, "We can't take it." But when you're writing a book, like take a drink, Brandon. I mentioned my book, but Brandon says you can play a drinking game and get drunk every time Ryan mentions his book. But hey, it's a labor of love, man. You'll get it eventually, people. But in your book, you have to pick a. I mean, you don't have to pick a side, but if I'm telling a narrative, I can't just say in the middle of it, parentheses, star, asterisk. Alice Hancock also says that 30 years later that so I mean, I have to be consistent. And generally, when I have a conflict, I go with the earlier statement, right? So I'm going to trust what Alice Hancock or Flo says to the FBI 20 minutes after leaving the plane than what they say 30 years later, 40 years later, 50 years later, right? I mean, that's just common sense, right? And I think that if Cooper had offered Alice or Flo a packet of $2,000, which is the equivalent of $15,000 today or something, then I think they would have mentioned that to the FBI. But instead, they mention he offered. Alice doesn't mention it at all. Alice never mentions being offered any money. But Flo says that Cooper offered her, when she's trying to leave the plane, the change that she had given him earlier for his drink. So, Big Woody says, Ryan, did Earl Casy change his story to DB Cooper as a no pull? I thought I heard Bruce Smith mention something. Earl says a lot of things. Earl is just like everything else. I go with the earliest statements. Because think about this, people. Think about nobody giving a statement to Earl Casy, Tina, anybody who gave a statement to the FBI the day of the hijacking, the day after the hijacking, 2 days after the hijacking, they all assumed Cooper was going to be caught. Okay, he was not DB Cooper. He was just the asshole who hijacked a plane, right? So they're not going to embellish their stories. They have no reason to embellish the story, to change facts, because it's not interesting. It's just a guy, something happened. It's like, think about this. If you were a witness to a car wreck, you saw this pile up, and then you saw a guy jump out and shoot at some other guy and run off, right? Okay. And you're interviewed by the police moments later, okay? And okay, so you saw some guy get in a wreck and some guy had a shootout and whatever. It was something that happened to me. I saw it. I'm telling the cops about it. Okay. Isn't it more likely that if you found out a year or two later that the guy who was shooting at the guy at the car wreck was Barron Trump or something, and then Barron Trump goes missing, and you're telling this story 10 years later, it's more likely you're going to misremember things or embellish a little bit. So my point is that they had no reason to be dishonest in their statements 5 minutes after the hijacking, right? So what Earl Casy says the day of the hijack, but I guess they didn't talk to Earl Casy for a couple of days, but what Earl Casy says originally, before it becomes DB Cooper and before he becomes Earl Casy of DB Cooper, before the news started showing up and talking to him and stuff, and he became sort of a mini celebrity, that's more trustworthy to me. What you say when you're not on the, when it's not famous yet or whatever, because none of these people giving interviews on the day of the hijacking knew it was going to become DB Cooper, right? So with Earl Casy, as long as you stick with his earliest statements, I don't see any. I know Flyjack disagrees, but I don't see any inconsistency at all in Earl Casy's what Earl Casy says to anybody. In fact, the first time you see him lying to the FBI, as far as I can tell, is some stuff he told to Larry Carr in 2007 or so. So 38 years after the hijacking, or 37 years, whatever. But he's pretty consistent of what he says. And I don't think Earl Casy didn't say anything about a no pull until later on. In fact, we have Earl Casy saying repeatedly in the FBI files, sure, he survived. Might have broken his ankle or something. I mean, most of the skydivers the FBI interviewed were like, of course he lived. He may have hurt himself because it was a night jump, but you're going to live. Again, according to the USPA parachute statistics, only 1 in 1 million skydive jumps results in a no pull. Okay, so it's just not really going to happen. What are the dangers of jumping without boots? Look, people skydive in flip-flops. I don't know how the flip-flops stay on their feet, but people skydive in sandals, flip-flops, barefoot. I don't think it matters. I mean, jump boots might help you from twisting an ankle maybe when you land, but did the copycats wear boots? Mac was wearing dress shoes. I know that. He had just bought them from his dad's shoe store. Mac was wearing dress shoes. I presume Heineman was dressed in a suit. I presume he jumped wearing dress shoes. I don't think he requested boots. I think he requested other stuff. Like he requested a jumpsuit and maybe a helmet and some other stuff. But it's funny talking about McNally. Remember one time I was talking to McNally about other copycats, and I mentioned Heineman ordering a helmet. I think it was Heineman, and he was like, "Oh, I should have asked for a helmet. I should have asked for a damn helmet. What was I thinking?" You know, because Mac asked for an entrenching tool and goggles, which flew off his head as soon as he jumped. But Casy gave a dummy parachute. No, Casy didn't give any parachutes to anybody that night. Casy was sitting on his ass at his house that night. The dummy parachute was given by Lynn Emmerich, the owner of Seattle Sky Sports. Okay. Hi, Yo-Yo. Could Cooper have put on a disguise in the toilet? Hence the mystery bag, and why the two why the two composites are completely different. No, I see what you're saying. No, the composites are not completely different because Cooper changed his look. I would say we know that because nobody had a problem with the Bing sketch. They had some minor quibbles. They saw a couple passengers said his nose should be a little wider. A couple of passengers, one passenger said his forehead should be a little bit broader. But there were no major complaints with the Bing sketch. So the sketches are so complicated. But no, Cooper didn't change his appearance. I mean, I would think that if Cooper came out looking different, I mean, Tina, listen, before Cooper goes to the bathroom when they land in Seattle. So Tina had already been sitting with him for 3 hours at that point. So if Cooper comes out of the bathroom looking different, I think Tina would have mentioned that, right? So I don't think so. Well, Max says Cooper chose a main parachute, not the reserve parachute, unlike McNally. All they gave Mac were reserve parachutes. Mac bitched and said, "Where are the backpacks? You're trying to kill me." They gave Mac 6 reserve front. They gave Mac 6 of those things. That's what he had. And somehow he lived jumping with that at 330 miles an hour, having never even put on a parachute. Mac lived. Okay, Cooper at least seemed to know what he was doing with the parachutes. I think he was a military parachutist, not a skydiver, but Cooper seemed comfortable enough with what he was doing. Look, Mac had to have the flight engineer at gunpoint come back to the rear and show him how to put on a parachute. Okay. If you watched that trailer earlier, you'll hear Sharon, who is his Tina. Hopefully we can get her to CooperCon too. It'd be cool to have a hostage stewardess, have Mac's version of Tina there. Since we can't get the real Tina, we can get the closest thing, which would be Sharon. You hear Sharon saying, I thought about jumping him. We could have jumped him because the stewardesses helped Mac put on his parachute. And Sharon had been jumping before. Sharon had gone skydiving before. In fact, Alice Hancock, which is a little known fact, had gone skydiving before. Her husband, who's newlywed, was a skydiver, Jim Hancock, and they had gone skydiving. And there were no tandem jumps back then. Okay, so Alice Hancock jumped out of a plane with a parachute herself at some point. But Sharon had been skydiving at least once, and she could tell that what Mac had was not a good parachute. And she was like, that's a front reserve. And she said that when they were helping him on, his arm got caught somehow, and he was like incapacitated. And she was like, I thought about we could have jumped him at that time, but she decided not to. How did Cooper? No problem, Yo-Yo. Good thought. How did Cooper? Wait, hey, Nikki. Nikki's in the chat. L.A. traffic. I know. How did Cooper hold on to his briefcase? I think that he threw it out the back. I mean, the FBI thinks that too. The FBI believed that Cooper just threw his briefcase out the back, which I think so. He had no reason to keep it. Because, I mean, look where he would have thrown it out. He would have thrown it out somewhere between Tacoma. I mean, look, in between like Tacoma and get down to like the Lewis River battleground area, woodland, it's just trees. It is as thick of a forest as you could possibly imagine. It is Bigfoot country, right? So a briefcase being thrown out the plane is just going to land with a crash somewhere and probably never be seen again, okay, by anybody. Yeah, Nikki, you missed the trailer. I think Packer put it on the Facebook group, I think, Nikki, if you want to go check it out. We showed it live. I should show it again. Yo-Yo says, I think the general consensus is that Cooper was a copycat himself of Cini. I agree with you, actually. I do. The FBI believes that too. I just have a really hard time picturing two people having the exact same unique, never seen before concept for a robbery at the same time, and they do it 11 days apart. Oh my God. The flight path is bogus. I will try. I could try to be patient on that, Professor. The flight path is not bogus. Literally the top radar on the planet Earth. This radar that was tracking the plane was more expensive than the Manhattan Project. Okay, this was the SAGE radar system. Okay, that plane, as soon as, listen, for those who just don't know, I guess I'll say it again. But Professor, the reason why the flight path is not bogus is because when the plane began squawking hijack, there's a squawk. They can turn a transponder on, and it was believed the transponder code was set to 3100. They can start squawking hijack, 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 hijack. When they did that, our nuclear defense, which was the SAGE radar, was nuclear defense. Okay, they immediately believe when anything transpons hijack, hijack, it automatically, our radar system automatically records on a hard drive, which is pretty high tech back then, right? Automatically recorded any bogey's position every 5 seconds. Okay, so they were pinging it, ping, 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 ping. D.B. Cooper's plane was pinged from just south of Seattle all the way to Reno. Okay, every 5 seconds, recorded on a hard drive. All right, by the best radar ever on Earth at that point. Manned by Air Force technicians who had to have a year of training to even get on the thing. I mean, this was our nuclear defense, right? So, and they were able to give this map on real time, printed out, well, the coordinates, I guess, but they gave it to the FBI the next day, and they even reworked the radar to get it even closer, and they got the radar within a quarter mile. I feel you've been lied to. Oh, okay. I mean, we only had the deputy director of NORAD on the Facebook group tell us all this, but okay. No, the flight path is fine, and look, the flight path just so happens to match the Victor 23 airway almost perfectly. I mean, they were told to fly down Victor 23. Well, what a coincidence. The flight path basically goes to, yes, I believe them. Why would I not? Professor, okay, this is the problem. I'm trying to be nice to you. I try to be nice to everybody on here, Professor. But like, I don't do conspiracy bullshit. All right? I don't do conspiracy bullshit on this case. This was a hijacking. This was one of 130 hijackings in a 5-year period in America. 5 years, there were 130 commercial airliners hijacked. This was one of 130. This was not special. The Cooper hijacking at the time was not special. It is only special because he got away. There's nothing mystical about it. It was a clever bank robbery pulled off by some asshole in a suit. It's not that deep. It's not solved because he was the first to get away with it, because he got away with it. You know how many bank robberies are unsolved? Only 60% of bank robberies are cleared by the FBI. Think about that. So 40% of bank robberies go unsolved. And this is 1971. This guy walked onto a plane, gave no ID, and jumped out. Why would they solve it? If he never talked to anybody about it, then how are they going to solve this? Okay. The other copycats, people talked. Cooper wasn't caught because he didn't tell anybody anything. Either he didn't tell anybody anything about it. The only person who can keep a secret is one person. Okay. So Cooper didn't tell somebody about it, or the person his accomplice was his wife or whatever. Why would you fly over the most populated areas of Washington and Oregon if they thought he was going to blow up the plane? Well, for one thing, they were trying to follow his instructions so he didn't get pissed off and blow the plane up. Okay. And is it that populated? I mean, not really. I mean, they flew over Portland, which is populated, but the rest of it ain't populated. Have you seen D.B. Cooper's flight path all the way to Reno? They're flying over nothing for the most part. Okay. But no, this was just, but no, look, Professor, there's no reason to think, I mean, like I said, we have all the documentation of this thing almost in real time. The FBI have been releasing these files. Okay. He flew over the capital of Washington. What? What isn't Olympia the capital of Washington? Where is Olympia? Did they fly over Olympia? I don't think so. The FBI is lying. Okay, well, thank you, Dan Grider. Yes, yeah. You see how easy it is to just say the FBI is lying? The FBI is not lying, Professor. Why would they lie? Why would they be lying the day after the hijacking, the day of the hijacking? Why would they lie? Well, I mean, what purpose would they have to lie? This was just another dude who hijacked a plane. There were 130 of these, man. Why would they do that? Seriously, tell me, why would they lie about this? What is so special about this bank? It's their guy. Man, look, we have 85,000 pages of FBI documents coming out. We have 50,000 of these pages. I have 50,000 pages of FBI documents on a database. I have read through all of them. 50,000 pages. If it was their guy, would they spend 85,000 documents, 45 years? If it was their guy, they could have just blamed it on McCoy and be done with it. Yes, okay. Yeah, I'm not sorry, Professor. I'm not going to bounce you or anything, but I don't live in a world of conspiracy bullshit. Like, the government is people. That's the problem. Is people say, oh, the deep state, the government. The government is just people who wake up and get out of bed and go to work. The FBI are just, yes, within 1 year we had TSA types up our bums. You know why? It wasn't Cooper. It wasn't Cooper. It wasn't Cooper. It was the November hijacking of Southern Airways by 3 other assholes who threatened to crash the plane into the Oak Ridge nuclear facility. That. There was a congressional hearing right after that, and they said, holy shit, they're going to fly, these hijackings getting crazy, they're going to fly into nuclear facilities. sadly prescient, right? That is what, I mean, look, there were something like 40 hijackings between Cooper and the 73 TSA, or not, FAA stuff. Like 40. Cooper was not special. He didn't give a shit. Well, Cooper was not the reason they did this. They did this because they were going to fly, they threatened to fly a plane into a nuclear facility. Hijackers did. 2 months later, they have airport security. It was not Cooper. Cooper is way before this. Again, Cooper is not special. He's special because he got away. That's it. That's why we care about Cooper, because he got away. Okay? He's not that deep. I mean, Cooper's not CIA, he's not FBI. That's just drama. Okay, enough of that. The Cooper hijack did change the rules. No, it didn't. At least Cooper didn't hurt anyone. Well, he could have, though. That's what makes him not a great guy. Dan Grider lies. Okay. All right, back to some real questions. Okay. Somebody asked me about Jerry Alter. Alter is not, I mean, try and find a picture of Jerry Alter. Let me try to find a picture of him. Alter's a really good looking suspect. If you, yeah, here he is. I mean, dude looks like the sketch. His nose might be a little broad here, but Jerry Alter is a good look. Jerry Alter's, well, his nose, you can't tell. Just a Jerry Alter, people, is the guy who, with his wife, I don't really know the complete story, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but I know that when they died, it was found that they had missing art that was worth millions in their possession. So they had stolen, he and his wife here had stolen art over their lives for a long time. But he was a school teacher in New York, I think. He was a music teacher or something like that. Somebody let me know. But he's a good match for the sketch, for the Bing sketch for sure. But no parachute experience, nothing like that. I don't know his age at the time either. But he's a good look. He just doesn't have any aviation or parachuting knowledge. And I just think that Cooper seemed like he had some better knowledge, than most people did on stuff like that. Was Cooper a military parachutist? Probably. Especially if it's one of those questions that people ask me, what would you ask Tina? That's one of the things I would ask Tina, right? Is I want verification that Cooper had his drag bag, right? Like I really would love for Cooper to have his drag bag. That would be, or to know that Cooper used the drag bag. I think that would be a big tell. If we could verify that Cooper had a drag bag, I think that, there's a picture of Brian. I was looking for that. Here's Brian recreating what he was doing, by the way. So there we go. He was swiping. He wasn't digging in the dirt. He was swiping in the sand. Is what Brian was up to. All right. Let's see. View by date. Let me see. Yeah, so there we go. What am I looking for, people? Sorry. Bad pod. Yeah, so it's thought that Cooper had a little drag bag sort of thing down by his feet. Tina says that when Cooper was walking around, that the money bag was dragging behind his body a little bit. And that is 100 million% a paratrooper thing. that they do. They have these drag bag things that they will tie to their bodies, and then they can release them once their canopy opens, they can release a tie and it drops the drag bag 10, 20 feet below them or whatever. So, yes, and Cooper did wave goodbye to Tina, in case anybody's wondering. He did in fact wave goodbye. So, he says, do military parachutists typically look for packing cards? They could. You know, I mean, I don't know why. Sure. I mean, packing cards are a thing in military parachutes. It's my understanding, because they want to know which rigger to blame if something goes wrong. So I know they have packing cards in military chutes. Yeah, it just seems to me that Cooper has this kind of like quasi knowledge. And that's why someone like, Skip Hall again is a good like suspect in this regard, because Skip had like limited free fall experience. Okay. But he wasn't a skydiver, right? He would not have owned his own equipment, but he had done it before, because he had to do it 5 times free falls to get into their CIA goon squad that he was in or whatever, Interpen. So Skip Skip would have only used when they were doing their Cuban jump stuff, but they'd have only used, military parachutes like these probably. So we're looking for a guy who has familiarity with these types of chutes and isn't too picky about what kind of parachute he gets. Remember, Cooper just says, give me parachutes, 2 backs, 2 fronts. Doesn't care what he's getting. And the military guys are just used to just jumping with what they have. So they're not picky, because they don't get to be picky. They're handed a parachute and are told to use it. So Packer Jack says the Jerry Alter documentary is called The Thief Collector. It's great. All right. What else? What's the most likely backstory to the grudge Cooper had, in your opinion? Okay, so I would just say that as a criminal defense attorney, and having defended many hundred criminals and gone to jail to talk to them and all kinds of things, I would say that every criminal has a grudge against people. It's never their fault, right? They're always mad at somebody. And his grudge may have been that he was underpaid. Perhaps he had been in the military for a long time. A career military guy gets out, doesn't have a great pension, doesn't have a lot of skills in the real world. Something like that could be a grudge. Maybe his wife divorced him and took all his money. I don't know. I've often said too, it could have just been a cool thing to say, right? Instead of saying, sir, do you have a grudge against our airlines, sir? Instead of saying, well, I don't have a grudge against your airlines. I just have a grudge. A lot cooler than sounding, I don't have a grudge against your airlines. I'm just a thief. So it doesn't sound, it could have just been something he said. It's like, I'll bring up Flyjack again. Flyjack, again, I don't blame him for overanalyzing things, but for example, we have Cooper saying, Tina says she lives in Minneapolis, and Cooper goes, Minnesota's fine country. Okay. That's small talk. Okay. And so, Minnesota's nice country. There we go. Nice country. And Flyjack believes that possibly Cooper was making a reference to racism or something, because people in Minnesota nice is some kind of racist term. But I just think she could have said, I live in Phoenix. Phoenix is nice. It's just small talk, right? I think might be looking too much into that. My thoughts. I don't think Minnesota nice, he was referring to racism. I think he was just saying it's nice country. Nice, because it is nice country. Minnesota's pretty. Again, he's just making small talk. We might look too much into it. James says he likely knew that Issaquah Sky Sports was open on a Thanksgiving evening. Well, he didn't request the parachutes to come from there, though, right? So James, he didn't He didn't know that. In fact, Cooper thought the parachutes were coming from the Air Force Base. So that seems irrelevant. Cooper's Ryan, number one suspect at this point is who? I can't say. I would say that this person coming out eventually is a good suspect. Cooper Kahn, our reveal, was a good suspect. As I've said, of the named suspects, I still feel that if you're just checking boxes, I would still say that Skip Hall probably has enough of the boxes checked to where of the named suspects, I think he's plausible. Because he was a crook. He did work in the aviation. Okay. We know he had a Towncraft tie. There is a photograph of him wearing a snapper tie, the same tie that Cooper's wearing. We have a photograph of him wearing that. That's pretty cool. Okay. If you're in the Facebook groups, we've got audio of Skip Hall using words like "do the job." It's pretty cool. So, I mean, he checks a lot of boxes, but I still think his nose might be a little too big for my liking. And I think he's a nice looking guy, but Packer has pointed out that he was in the recovery phase of hepatitis in November of 71 and did look a little ragged. So maybe wasn't looking that great. James said, did he specifically request parachutes to come from McCord? No. Cooper said, I want 2 fronts, 2 backs. That's it. What was Skip Hall's education? He sounds eloquent to me. I guess he graduated high school. I don't think Skip had any college. Packer, let me know. I don't think Skip went to college. I assume he graduated high school unless he dropped out to join the military, but he was an intelligence officer briefly with the military, so he wasn't stupid. But Cooper said, I want 2 fronts, 2 backs, and didn't specify where they came from. So, no. And at some point, it was erroneously communicated to the flight crew that they were getting the parachutes from McCord. And they would have told that to Tina, and then Tina would have told that to Cooper. So that's why Cooper gets pissed off and starts bitching about, it's only 20 minutes from McCord. Why are we still waiting on parachutes? Right? Because they had told him that they were coming from McCord. Okay. Impossible. Ryan, if you were to try to do the Cooper hijacking today, could you get away with it? And what would need to change? No. No way. No. There's just too many. Like I said, I'm a defense attorney. I'll give y'all some advice. If you ever want to commit a crime, leave your phone on and leave it at your house. And don't take your phone with you because they will ping where your phone is. Okay? The number of clients I have had who said they weren't somewhere, and then I'm like, well, I got the discovery, and the DA's office talked to your cell coverage, and they were able to triangulate where you were at precisely at 6:28 p.m. You were using this cell tower here. No, leave your phone at home. But these days, it's hard as hell to commit a crime and get away with it, I think, especially hijacking. Come on. You got cameras everywhere. It's almost not even worth talking about because honestly, I was having this conversation with my mother recently, actually, about how did anybody get caught back then at all? It seems like it'd be pretty easy to commit a crime in the days before CCTV and things like that. I think that's why punishment was harsher too. Think about like horse thieves. Think about how they used to hang horse thieves. Well, yeah, because it's easy. It was so easy to steal a horse back in the old days, right? Sneak onto somebody's land, hop on the horse, and ride off. Don't need car keys. So that's why horse thieves were hung. Hanged. Is it hanged or hung? I always get that mixed up. Hanged. Are you hanged, or are you hung for? Are you hanged to death or hung to death? Let's see. What hijack? Hung is past tense. Hanged is present. I am being hanged to death. Yeah, I guess that'd be present tense. I am being hanged. They hanged him to death today. That to me would be past tense. I don't know. Hanged, hung. I didn't major in English, so yeah, you could never pull off a Cooper hijacking today. Oh, there were some questions earlier on. Jim, Big Jim Aurelian. Big Jim's got a good suspect who's not named yet. Big Jim, we'll have to get your suspect out there sometime. Big Jim's suspect scored pretty good on my matrix, I think. Let me see. Where did Jim's yet to be named suspect, who's pretty good? My matrix, let's see. Where did Jim? I've got 23 on my suspect matrix, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 5th. So yeah, this unnamed suspect is below Orville Lyons and right above Langseth. So anyway, Jim had a question there. Where's your questions go, Jim? You're at the very top, weren't you? Damn it. Sorry. I'm going to scroll to the top. Jim says, did Bill Mitchell see Cooper as being dark complexion or just a white guy? A white guy. Interestingly enough, our only eyewitness who does not mention Cooper's skin tone is Bill Mitchell. So there's that. Jim also says, I forgot you had mentioned it before that Larry Carr had searched through all the cabinets containing hair slides and the Cooper hair slide was not there. Where was this at? That would have been in Seattle. He didn't go through the cabinets. He went through the 1A folders. So like the FBI files are these huge filing cabinets with files. And then there's these things called the 1A folders. And 1A folders are little envelopes that photographs go in, or a hair slide, or a sketch, or whatever. And he went through every single one of the hairs. He said he went through every single 1A folder, like, I don't know how many, 200 something of these, 300, and like, shook them out, just to make sure that it wasn't stuffed in there on accident. And he did. Here we go. Okay, we can finally transition into something to talk about, and it's fresh. The hair slides, though. He did find the LA suspect's hair slide, and I did find out who the LA suspect is, and I was going to make a video about the guy, but there's not enough on the LA suspect to really do a video on. But while I was going through the files, I kept coming across a suspect, and it turns out there were actually two of these guys. They were being conflated in my mind because they both came out of LA at the same time, but there were two LA suspects, but the main one, though, I kept coming across this guy, and his name was redacted, and Cooper's hair was only ever compared to 3 suspects that we know of. That'd be McCoy, this LA suspect in 74, and Orville Lyons in 83, 84. So I was like, well, damn, McCoy, at least superficially at first, was a good suspect, and Orville Lyons is a good suspect. So it sounds like they only reserved the hair slide for the heavy hitters, right? But so I was like, well, who is this guy? Well, turns out that it was the LA suspect. I was able to figure out who he was because whoever was doing the redacting on the most recent redactions screwed up a few times and left a few names in there that they shouldn't have. They put this guy's wife's name in there because she is dead, I guess, and they can verify that she's dead. So they put her name in there, and I go, well, I'll go on Ancestry.com and I'll look up this woman's name and figure out who her husband was or who she had been married to ever. And sure enough, this guy's name fit. the redactions and his name, and when I newspaper.com his name checks out with what is in the FBI files. His name was, oh, hell's bells. I'll tell you his name in a second, Max. Dadgummit. I'm trying to pull up this thing so y'all can see it. His name is Ralph Silkwood. Okay. Ralph Silkwood was a DJ. Okay. Ralph Silkwood was a country western DJ who went by a different name. He went by the name of, what was it? Jim Woods, I think, was his Ralph Silkwood, not Sickwood, or Silkwood. He was a country western DJ. And 2 days before the Cooper hijacking, he told his wife he was going out to go work on their boat. Their boat was, where was it? Their boat was Rocky Point, which is in LA. Ronaldo Beach. That's it. King Harbor, Ronaldo Beach. I'm sure LA guys know that. King Harbor. Anyway, he told his wife, I'm going to go work on our boat. And this is 2 days before 3 days before the hijacking, I think, actually. It was on the Sunday. And he goes missing. He never comes home. And his wife says, well, where is he? And they can't find him. And there was no evidence of foul play. But then, a few years later, some people started seeing him around the area in LA. And it turns out he was alive. But it also turned out that apparently Ralph Silkwood used to live, or Jim Woods, used to live in the Portland area, maybe like Salem or Eugene, somewhere in Portland. He was a DJ up there too. So he actually, after he faked his death or whatever, he goes immediately up to the Portland area or the Oregon area, so it made the agents go, well, shit. Here's a guy who fakes his own death and then ends up in a hotel. We have him in a hotel in the Portland area the day of the hijacking. Okay. But he did not, and he had been, it's kind of weird though. He and his wife had taken flight lessons in the early 60s, Silkwood and his wife. And, but his wife told the FBI that he would never skydive. He was afraid of heights. Well, I guess flying, I don't know. I guess I'm afraid of heights, and I've not flown planes, but I've been in little small planes. It doesn't bother me, so, but maybe. But I believe that it turns out that he was not a good physical match, Silkwood. Here is his article about him in the paper. It says, 14 divers seeking missing disc jockey. A team of 14 divers probed the waters off Rocky Point today for a radio disc jockey reported missing. Jim Woods, 39, a broadcaster for yada yada yada, was reported missing by his wife, who said her husband was going to do maintenance work on their 27-foot vessel at King Harbor in Redondo Beach. When Woods failed to return home, his wife telephoned the Coast Guard. A short time later, a resident out there said they saw his boat anchored 200 yards off the coast. The country and western disc jockey, whose real name was Ralph J. Silkwood, worked the 6 a.m. to 11 shift at the station. All right. So this guy here, though, I have not been able to find, and I can find pictures. I have never found a picture. I spent a day trying to go through all kinds of stuff, trying to find a picture of this Ralph Silkwood guy. Couldn't do it. What's funny, though, is for a while there, I thought his name was David Silkwood. And I came across David Silkwood, and I was like, oh, God, this has got to be a great Cooper. Look at this guy. So, and this guy was from the same city where Ralph Silkwood. I mean, how many remember, Ralph Silkwood has the same number of letters as David. David J. Silkwood is also is the same letters and everything as Ralph J. Silkwood. So I was like, oh, this is the guy. And David Silkwood was married to a woman. I forget the first name of this woman, Margaret or something. Margaret. Yeah, Margaret was David J. Silkwood's wife's name, and Ralph J. Silkwood's wife's name was Margaret. Okay, so I was like, oh, this is him. I thought it was David. I thought it was this guy for the longest time, for like a day or two. And I was like, oh my God, this is pretty interesting. Look at this guy. Good Cooper, right? Too handsome to be Cooper, I think. Nice looking guy. But look at him. It looks kind of ethnic looking. Look at that lower lip, right? I mean, look at that. Look at that lower lip there. Skinny tie, tall, lower lip, kind of dark looking, little double chin there. I was like, oh my God, this could be Cooper. But alas, not this guy here. It was not it was not David Silkwood, who I found some great photos of. It was Ralph Silkwood, who I have found no bloody photographs of. But I believe the FBI files on Silkwood say that he was blonde-haired and was a bad match to Cooper's physical description. So, really not enough there to make its own video, but the LA suspect whose hair was compared to Cooper's was a guy named Ralph J. Silkwood, a.k.a. Jim Woods, who is apparently still alive. To my knowledge, this guy is still alive. Because his name's not redacted, and he's not on Ancestry.com. Or it doesn't have a page yet, or a find a grave, or anything like that. So I think he's still alive, which is why he's been redacted. He's he'd be at like 90 years old by now, but still alive apparently. So Ralph J. Silkwood is the LA suspect who, it's kind of funny. We have these, like, for the longest time it was Egg Harbor suspect and the Shelton lead, we called it. There were two guys, because when the files first started coming out, a lot of them were more heavily redacted than they should have been, and we found a file in the FBI files that say it was in 2001. Ralph Hope was like, "I want DNA from several suspects who I am interested in." I'm like, "Oh, okay," and it was McCoy, of course. And then it was some guy and with Egg Harbor on his, it was redacted, and another guy from Shelton, Washington. We're like, oh, okay. So we're like, who the hell are these guys that must be great suspects if they wanted their DNA? And it turns out that it was Catalano and Langseth. Okay, good suspects, but turns out it was those two guys. And now we had this LA suspect who I spent 2 years trying to figure out who the hell this guy was. Turns out he was a country western disc jockey. So, fun times. All right. Okay, good question there, Captain. Curious, what effect would the eruption of Mount St. Helens have on recovering anything related to Cooper? Nil. Because the fallout, they received some ash. I've asked this question. I believe that we had somebody in the chat a while back who was there. Maybe if Steve, if you're still in the chat, let us know if you were around back then. But it's my understanding that, of course, the winds blew east, so all of the major fallout went east of Mount St. Helens, and the area. Yeah, zero. Steve Hart just zero. That's what I thought. Like, I mean, maybe a little bit. Steve, am I right? I think that somebody told me this. I mean, a smidge of ash. Not much at all went to Portland and wherever, but like almost all of it went east. Okay. Max, what are you saying about a little card fell out of the plane? You're talking about the placard? The placard wasn't from the plane. So we know it wasn't from the Cooper plane. Several reasons, but we know it wasn't from the Cooper plane. And what difference does it make anyway? I mean, it's under the flight path, so even if it was from the Cooper plane, it wouldn't matter. All right. all this idea of Cooper being a no pull is just obnoxious to me. I mean, literally, you have one job to pull a ripcord, and they're not hard to find. Okay, ripcord is not difficult to find. And again, as I said, the U.S. Parachute Association says that 1 in a million, literally 1 in a million, are no pulls. And they believe several of those are likely to be suicides. So, again, parachutes are a way safer form of travel than driving a car. Probably safer than walking. Honestly, I don't know what the odds are. I'd love to know what the 1,000,000 to 1 odds are of you walking down the road getting hit by a car as a pedestrian. Probably higher than, probably better than 1 in a million, maybe. But parachutes are very safe. Okay. Cooper probably hurt. Most of our copycats, because they jumped at night, were banged up a little bit. But again, Cooper had a 40-hour head start to escape the area. Hurt or not, he can crawl out of there if he had to in 40 hours. Give any thief a 40-hour head start to leave his crime scene, and he's long gone, right? Okay. Terry Lee says he has hunted the woods. I have hunted these woods for 30 years and someone would have found something. Maybe. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, the problem is this. Okay, if Cooper is a no pull, how the hell does the money get to Tina Bar? Right? For the money to get to Tina Bar and for you to think that Cooper was a no pull, you have to come up with some idea of someone else finding Cooper's dead body or the money bag or something and then doing something with it. I mean, it's a lot more plausible that, and James, you're right. We do have a FBI file talking about buzzards. They did look for buzzards. That was something that they looked for. And they even contacted, there's a 302 where it's where they contact the, I don't know if I have that. I'll show you guys that. I think they even contacted the, wildlife and fisheries department saying are there buzzards this time of year? Oh, come on. Buzzard? Oh, man. I don't have that. Oh, well. But no, there is a 302 about them looking for buzzards, and they didn't see any. We know McCoy wasn't Cooper, but back then the FBI wanted him to be. Well, sure. I mean, for about a week until they realized he wasn't Cooper. But, there's a great quote from Robin Montgomery. Hello, Captain Hyperbole. Over 200,000 hunters were looking for the body that weekend. All right. Let's see. Well, so the population of Washington State in 1970 was just over 3 million people. So, what? 15% of the entire state were hunting for Cooper? That's not true. Yeah, I call them buzzards there, Steve. They're vultures, but for whatever reason, the FBI used the term buzzards. I know they're vultures, but it was an extended buck season. That's fine. I mean, he got away. I mean, hunters would have, you'd think they would have found something, but it took them a year to find the body of a hunter who went missing the same month as Cooper. And all they found was his femur, his rifle, and that's it. A 16-year-old named James Annis went missing in November 10th or so, 71. And they didn't find anything a year later when they found his body because it's just torn asunder by things. Yeah, Nikki's right. I mean, closer to a couple hundred locals who pulled up. And look, I mean, and the FBI were turning people away, okay? It really pissed off the Sheriff's Department of Cowlitz and Clark counties because they had to go, like, turn people away. They had to go say, hey, look, you know, stop treasure hunting around here. But not 200,000. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Didn't they suspect another copycats were Max, I'm going to rephrase that question. I'm not sure what you mean by that. If Cooper's money fell from his chest, they would have found it like McNally's, probably. Yeah. I mean, somebody would have found, well, again, how'd the money get to Tina Bar? So somebody found something. So either somebody found that money bag if it came off of Cooper and just didn't tell anybody, or Cooper left the area with it. Good point, Randy. If someone found $200,000 on a dead guy, zero money would be on Tina Bar. Probably so. Was Cooper the other copycats? No. I mean, let's just look at him. I guess, right? Let's go through the copycats. I've got a little thing here I made. These are the Cooper copycats, and the ones that are highlighted are the ones who actually jumped. All right. So, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure none of these dudes are Cooper. All right. I know that our guy Flyjack likes Heineman as Cooper, but I'm not seeing it. As I said, Mac, it's just funny. If you compare Mac to the Bing sketch, it's not terrible, honestly, but he's just way too young. But that they did rough him up pretty badly. They made him, they're like, that Mac says, they're trying to tell me to make me confess to being Cooper. I'm like, I wasn't Cooper. So no, none of these guys. And see the last one down here at the bottom right. These are the guys who they got drunk and threatened to crash the plane into Oak Ridge. They are the ones who made airport security become a thing, not our friend Cooper. That's the wrong Everett Holt too. I gotta change that picture on my graphic. Interestingly enough, if you go up to the top there, Billy Hurst, so all these guys are dead. So Everett Holt apparently is alive. Hurst is alive. Mac and Hetty. The rest are dead. Okay. Because I have tried to look them all up. The bottom left, Frank Goodell was active military at the time. He was literally he was active duty hijacker. He felt bad about what he had done in Vietnam and wanted to go give money back to the kids in Vietnam. But Billy Hurst at the top left. Surprisingly, when I was doing my research for the copycat lecture I gave at CooperCon last year, I was surprised to find out that Billy Hurst kept the passengers in the dark, except for the passenger sitting next to him. So those passengers got off the plane and did not know they had been hijacked until they got off the plane. So I thought that was an anomaly. I thought Cooper was the only person who ever did that ever, but Billy Hurst managed to pull that off too. So Cooper was not the other copycats. No. If he was, let's see. Do you know if Cooper's palm print was found in more than one location? Do you know where they pulled the palm prints from? His seat. They pulled it from his armrest. Okay. McNally was the only one who lost the money. He sure was. Do I have, just for shits and giggles, do I have the animation that Mac drew me? Please tell me I have that. Oh my God. Do I not have that? How do I not have that easy to find? There it is. I asked McNally years ago, a couple years ago now, I said, Mac, will you draw me a photograph of how you jumped with the money, and will you text it back to me? So Mac drew a picture and then took a picture on his phone and texted it to me. So this is McNally's own drawing here. Mac Pirate 72, he says. So he actually thought of a good concept, honestly. So Mac's money bag, if we look at Mac's money bag, let me find that picture of Mac's money. So Mac's money came in a leather mail bag. Here it is. So Mac's money came in this leather mail bag here, right? That's his money. Now, see that handle there at the top? Mac took his belt off. Mac took his belt off and looped that handle through the belt and then put his belt back on. Pretty smart, right? Not a bad idea, except his belt was not a stitched like leather belt. It was a snap belt. So the force just took it off. If he had worn a regular human being belt, Mac would not have lost the money, because that's not a bad way to do it, right? Is you hook you can see his little drawing there. You hook he hooks the handle to the belt, and then he used twine, and I don't know what twine of all things. Why do you get twine? And then he wrapped it around his leg, the lower part, and then jumped out. And then lost the money as soon as he pulled his parachute open. Yep. But okay, good question there. If there were no fingerprints on the stair lever, then Cooper had gloves on. Well, he didn't have gloves on unless he put some. I mean, I don't think that. I mean, if he could have just worn gloves the whole time, right? I don't think so. But there's a good point. I mean, they did dust the stairs. They did dust the phone, the interphone, because we know that Cooper at least used the interphone once. Himself, obviously. Twice we know Cooper used the interphone. Once when he called back there and said, "Hey, slow down." He said, "I can't get the stairs down. Slow down." And they did. And then they called him back at 8:05, and they said, "Is everything okay?" And he said, "Yes." And then he hung up. So Cooper did use the interphone, and they didn't get any prints off the interphone either. So he definitely did that. So anyway, switching to gloves makes sense. Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, no, it's not a. So that's a good. So I think about this. In your mystery bag, you have things to let you skydive. My thought is that whatever was in the mystery bag was. Because nothing was used in the hijacking itself in the mystery bag. We know that because Cooper did not miracle anything from the bag during the hijacking. So whatever was in the bag could have only been used for his escape or his jump. So goggles, gloves, I've got in my hypothetical Cooper. I think I have an animation for my. Yeah, here. If Cooper, it's very possible because we know from the other copycats that they had mystery bags too that had skydiving gear in them. Several of them, McCoy, McNally. So Cooper could have, like that. Cooper could have put on goggles. And once Tina goes to the front, Cooper could have put on goggles and gloves. Maybe he had an altimeter with him, something like that. So it's not impossible. And yeah, that actually is not a bad thought there, Terry, that maybe we don't have Cooper's palm. Maybe we don't have Cooper's fingerprints on on the gear and stuff because by that point, maybe as soon as Tina went to the front, he, pulled out his gloves for his jump, right? There's Tina demonstrating where the, remember, he was going to have Tina do it herself, but Tina freaked out and said, I don't want to die. I don't want to get sucked out. And so Cooper said, fine, just show me the money, show me where it is. And then Cooper sends her up to the front after that. He said, that's the last thing. And then she turns around and says, hey, let me do it. There's again, my little animation there of Tina going to the front, sends her to the front. Then Tina closes the curtain behind her. And that's when Cooper gives her the wave. Tina closes her curtain there. Little cheesy animation I made there. And that's when he waves goodbye to her and she's off. So, yeah, maybe so. Why did Tina go into can we see Cooper waving to Tina again? Sure. Where is that? There he is. Goodbye. I love that detail that he waved goodbye to her. I think it's cute. So, okay. Hey, Ryan, if we had the loafers error for the shoes, is it possible something else is wrong on what he was wearing? Witnesses may have it wrong. How can we be 100% sure that what they said is factual? We can't. But the only person who described his shoes was Tina. So other people described his clothing, though. So generally, Cooper was wearing the thing is, we don't know. I put Cooper in a trench coat, okay? And I'll explain why my thought process on it is, okay? We have Alice, Flo, and Tina using 3 different terms for what Cooper was wearing over his suit. Tina calls it, I might get mixed up, but I know the third one, but Tina or Flo, either one of them calls it a top coat, a black top coat. One of the other ones says overcoat. Alice says trench coat. Now, not every overcoat is a trench coat, right? Not every top coat is a trench coat, but a trench coat can be an overcoat or a top coat, right? So I feel like Alice's specificity using the word trench coat makes me think it was a trench coat. Just my thought, because she was specific about that. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's why I generally put Cooper in my animations that I create of him, such as, this. He's wearing a bit of a trench coat because that's what Alice used that term. She used specificity where the other girls did not. If that makes sense. Crispy, we think, not sure, we're around page 50,000 now. Mark Zaid has said that it's his understanding there's about 85,000 pages. Maybe. It seems optimistic, but it should be 30,000 pages left. Allegedly, 35,000 pages left or so. Okay. What if Cooper was $200,000 in debt to the mob or had a large amount, and after landing he gave them the skyjacking money, then Cooper went back to his normal life? Well, you mean being shot in the head in a friggin' ditch in the desert outside Vegas is what they would have done to him if he had given them money, probably. But the thing is, we know that Cooper didn't have a $200,000 problem because he tried to give away at least $2,000 of it, right? So whatever his problem was, it was not a $200,000 problem. He just needed money. Hey, Ryan, is the case open again? Didn't they close it in 2016? No, they didn't close it. They just wanted people to leave them alone. Closed cases don't have case agents. There is a case agent on the case right now. Larry Carr was the case agent from, 2018? Again, his second time. 2018 to 2022. No, the case is not closed. That was theater by the FBI, I think. Well, mainly it was the FBI office saying that we're not going to we won't let our agents spend any more time on Cooper unless we get a parachute, a body, or the money. So that's why Dan Grider can thump his chest. Oh, the FBI came and picked up the chute. Well, okay, great. But yeah, the FBI said parachute, body, money. If you ain't got those things, we don't give a shit. Like, we need actionable evidence. Okay. So why didn't Cooper order $500,000 like McCoy and McNally? Don't know. I mean, I suspect that perhaps, look, it took a long time for them to come up with $50,000 for McCoy and McNally and them. In fact, if I have that animation in the copycats, hopefully I have that. Yeah, I do. So if we look at the animation of the copycats and how long it took them to get their stuff. So, okay, look here. So when the money shows up, right? So at Cooper, it took for the money to show up, or for the money to be there for the money to be given to Cooper was about 2 hours and 45 minutes. LaPointe only wanted $50,000, and he got it in about an hour. Now remember, he's in Las Vegas, so it ain't hard to get $50,000 in Vegas. McCoy, it took him about 4 hours. Now Heineman was odd. Heineman, he wanted, I think it was $303,000. Don't kill me, Flyjack, but I think it was $303,000. It was, yep. I have got it written there. And I think that when they brought it on, that's right. When they brought it on board, he didn't like the denominations. He said, I want this in $500 bills and $1,000 bills. Are you kidding me? So they had to circle over DC for a long time. They had to get the money from, I think the Heineman money had to come from the U.S. Treasury. Some of it came from Atlanta, maybe Miami, Richmond. They had to find, where do you find $500 and $1,000 bills? What's interesting too is that when they brought Heineman his money and they set it on, they came up with the plane and they gave him his new money with the $100 bills, $500 bills. I don't think they took maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe I'm wrong. I wish Fly would participate in these chats. But I think that there was a time where Heineman had over $600,000 because they didn't take the money back. Like the first time when he was bitching about the first money drop, I don't think they took that money back. He may have left it on either he left it on the plane or maybe they got it back at a later time, but he could have just said, okay, there was a time where Heineman had both amounts of money in his possession, or at least on the plane. So he didn't, and he only took that one. Then we've got, max $500,000 took, 5 hours? So, good animation there to kind of show you how long these hijackings took. Yeah, Cooper's wasn't very long. Cooper's is pretty quick. So I think that maybe he just didn't want the money, didn't want a huge denomination because it'd be harder it would take longer to get the money together, right? Be my thought. No, Jay. I don't think so. You've got here that he asked for $200,000. He asked for $200,000 because he knew the banks held $250,000 ransom packs. That was only C First who did that. That was not for a while in the vortex. I think that for a while in the vortex, Larry Carr had kind of put out an idea that several banks had these pre-recorded ransom packs, but we know now that's not true. This was just something that the C First Bank did because their head of security had come from Scotland Yard in England, and just something he did. And I highly doubt that. I mean, again, Cooper said that he picked Northwest Orient because the timing of it worked out. I don't think Cooper knew that Northwest Orient's bank was C First Bank, right? So I don't think so. Yeah. Terry Lee's saying, do you think Cooper knew the money was set aside? No. Because remember, Cooper is saying no. Because Cooper is saying he wanted it in circulated U.S. currency, and I mean, I don't think that. I said for him to know that would have to be that he knew that this bank particularly served C First, okay, and happened to have this money on hand. And again, every bank has $200,000 on hand, okay. I mean, every big bank. So it doesn't. I mean, if they were, if it was Seattle Trustmark Bank that served Cooper, that served Northwest Orient, he would have gotten $200,000 from there. The reason why it's important that it came from the ransom pack is because the money was already recorded, the serial numbers. Now, I don't know if they would have recorded the serial numbers, like let's just say fictional C First Trustmark Bank, that didn't have. I don't know if the FBI would have taken the time to record them on a Recordex machine. I know that in the Roger Holder, Kathy Kirko skyjacking, they did record those. The FBI did record those. Let's see. Sorry, I'm looking at Packer Jack sent me something. Yeah, Packer. I don't think that's him because I don't believe he lived in those areas. Packer sent me a picture of who he thought might be Ralph Silkwood, but I don't believe so because of where those locations are. In the FBI files, he never lived in Philadelphia or anywhere like that. But no. Why isn't there more info on Kathy? Well, it's a whole book on Kathy. You mean like now? There's a whole book on Kathy Kirko. Great book. The skies belong to us, right? Where is Kathy? Yeah, there she is. Remember, people, Cooper's not the only skyjacker that got away. This babe did too, right? Kathy Kirko got away. She is still missing. She was 20 years old at the time of the hijacking, or maybe 19. And she is, if she's alive, she is living in Switzerland or somewhere like that. I know that she was they found her in France, and she became like a minor celebrity, and they would not extradite her back to America. They refused. And I believe she was seen, they believe she's in Switzerland or France. But yeah, so she's not the only skyjacker in the 70s who is missing. It's also her. It's kind of cool. Cooper and Kathy Kirko from Coos Bay, Oregon. Okay, Oregon. But yeah, Kathy Marie Kirko. Pretty cool. Great book, by the way. The Skies Belong to Us. You should get it on Amazon. Great book. Yeah, I agree, Randy. Randy's right. Laundering the money was a non-issue. Spending 20s in small doses would have been easy. That's without even considering Vegas or foreign exchanges. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, if you listen to my interview with John Detler, who was the only surviving original agent on Cooper, he said that the money was just a crapshoot. I mean, they didn't have any faith that the money list was ever going to net Cooper. It was just, it didn't even matter. When did she do it? I want to say that hijacking was June 72. I think maybe July. It was. It may have been the same. Gosh, I want to say it was right next to. Let me see. I want to say it was right next to one of our other hijackers. What was the date of? Date. I want to say it was right next to June 3rd, 72. So yeah, that would have been. That would have been the June 3rd, 72. Who was next? Who was that? I think Rob Hetty may have been then. Somebody. Yep. Got it. Yep. Rob Hetty was June 2nd, 72, and yeah, Kathy Kirko was June 3rd, 72. And they got, there was a stupid thought that Mac, so there was a thought that, so Kathy Kirko got $500,000. And I believe, so Mac wanted $502,000. And it was erroneously reported in the papers that, that Mac only requested $502,000 because he wanted to up the $500,000 that Kirko and them got. Because Mac wanted to get the most money ever from a actual skyjacking, parajacking, I guess. But that's not true. Mac wanted $500,000 in like 20s and hundreds or whatever. And then he wanted, I think he wanted $2,000 or maybe $2,500 in smaller bills, like 5s, 10s, whatever. So he could have spending money. Like he wanted it separately because Mac was going to bury his main loot with his shovel they gave him. Part of his ransom demands was an entrenching tool. He was going to bury it and then come back and get it. Mac's plan was to go home, it was to land, bury the money, hotwire a car, drive back to Detroit, then drive to Canada with the $2,000 or whatever that in small bills that he had. That he wasn't going to bury. And then when it died down, go back and dig up his money. But, okay. McCoy McCoy brought a bag with him. He brought a duffel bag with him. And his duffel bag, he clipped on, when McCoy jumped, he clipped his duffel bag onto his D-rings, or onto the parachute somehow. He clipped them on. Okay. Rob Hetty, if I can pull up my Rob Hetty animation, Rob Hetty ran on board with his lynch mob mask and as a poor AI animation of a fishing vest. But Rob Hetty was wearing a fishing vest over his army jacket and could only fit, gosh, I want to say he only jumped with $140,000. I think Rob Hetty may have left $60,000 on the airplane because he couldn't fit that much into his fishing vest. But that's a pretty smart way to do it. You're not going to lose the money. And honestly, look, Cooper's idea, pretty sure. I mean, I'm guessing it. I mean, I have a good reason to think that what Cooper wanted to do with the knapsack. Remember, Cooper wanted a knapsack, meaning like a school backpack. That was the term back then for a backpack. Okay, he wanted a school backpack, essentially. And it's my understanding, or my belief, which makes sense, is that Cooper was going to wear the backpack backwards, right? Like think about when you're in elementary school, to be funny or cool or whatever, you'll wear your backpack backwards. So you have like a pouch in the front, like all your stuff's on the front. So Cooper puts the backpack backwards and then puts his parachute on. Okay? It's it's over it. So the straps are going over your backpack, right? It's on the front. That way you're kind of like a belly bag. They call them belly bags in the Army. So I think that's what Cooper was. I think that was his plan, was to jump like that, which makes perfect sense. And that would have held the money onto him perfectly fine. Because the straps for his big backpack would have gone over the school backpack, worn backwards. Does that make sense to everybody? I should make an AI visual, shouldn't I, of what I think Cooper was trying to look like. But that old knapsack thing, I tell you, people, that is just something else that Cooper, he bitches at Tina about the knapsack. Hey, where's my knapsack? But then doesn't press the point. Doesn't say, hey, I need a knapsack. Tell them to go rip a backpack off a dumb kid in the terminal. Get me a knapsack. Instead, Cooper spends what? I mean, Cooper spends an hour and a half. Wait. No. Cooper, from about 6 p.m. until they take off, 7:36, Cooper is, messing around with the stupid money bag, right? I mean, he first tries to, stuff it inside the, the dummy, not the dummy chute. He pops the chute and tries to stuff it in there, and of course it doesn't come anywhere close to fitting. Okay, and then he just decides to, start tying it around. But he spends an hour and a half MacGyvering his money bag instead of just saying, "Hey, go give me a knapsack, people." So that's always been a weird thing that Cooper would do that, right? Well, I mean, it's a very ADHD thing to do. I can smell my own. I'm ADHD myself. I can smell my own. It's just a bizarre thing to do. All right. Did it ever occur to you that the money was never the issue? Magnetometers were installed within a year or two in every airport. Yeah, but again, Professor, it ain't Cooper. Like, we know exactly from the congressional records, we know why they convened to start the TSA. Okay, and not the TSA, TSA. We know why they did all this. It was the Southern Airways November 72 skyjacking. It was not D.B. Cooper. How did D.B. Cooper harm the government in any way? How did it do anything? It didn't do shit. D.B. Cooper put an insurance company out $200,000. Okay, who cares? Nobody was hurt. Nobody. I mean, the government couldn't care less about Cooper. They care about people turning planes into missiles. That's a threat that they take seriously. And we know that because that's what they said. They said, we are convening because we were scared to death of the Southern Airways hijacking. Again, we make too much of Cooper because he got away with it. He's not special. All right? He's an asshole in a suit who was the first to do something and had the benefit of being first and also kept his mouth shut. Okay? Old enough to be calm, old enough to be wise enough to keep his mouth shut. Mac told at least 3 different people. Mac told James Petty, James Paulzak, and Walter Petlikowski. McCoy told his wife. McCoy told his best friend. McCoy told his sister-in-law. McCoy offered his sister-in-law $50,000 to help him out. She said no. Okay, so loose lips sink ships, right? Don't talk. Yes, Cooper was a bank robber. As I've said, if you could not see your suspect robbing a bank, he's probably not Cooper. Did McNally keep his mouth shut? No. Like I said, he told 2 guys he played pool with. Guy's name is James Paulzak, and I wonder how many times James Paulzak got the $10,000 reward for Mac. He turned Mac in. Said, I know who did this. He was boasting about it at the pool hall. I wonder how many times McNally called the guy Ballsack instead of Paulzak. James Ballsack. I can see Mac saying that. Yes. Okay, Professor, I don't like your conspiracy mindset, but I will agree with this. I think we all agree that TSA is government overreach. Hell yes. Absolutely. 100%. I mean, not to get on a tangent, but I cannot imagine, terrorists aren't going to do that again. They've done that. They played their hand, okay? I think that's done. I don't think we need take your. Oh, and all of you out there, TSA pre-check. If you are not TSA pre-check, you are stupid. Do it. If you travel, you're dumb. If you don't have TSA pre-check, it literally takes like 20 minutes to get TSA pre-check at your local office there and wherever you're from. And boy, it is nice. You pretty much skip the lines at the airport. It's nice. Okay, so get TSA pre-check. It costs $100 for like 5 years, something like that. Great, well worth it. Okay. Good point, JP viewer. Do you think Skip Hall would have kept his mouth shut? I see him using accomplices, and that wouldn't be quiet. I don't know if Skip would have used accomplices. Maybe. But honestly, this is a reason why I think Cooper may have died. Cooper may have, I don't think Cooper lived, and I know me and Marty Andrade agree on this, is that both of us think that Cooper didn't live much longer after that. I mean, I would be surprised if the real Cooper lived until the 1980s. I think Cooper dies at some point in the 70s. I don't think he lived too much longer. Again, risk taker, smoker, probably not older, 50 years old. You know, I don't think he lives that much longer after the hijacking, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know, but the longer you live, the more likely you're going to tell somebody. Cooper could still be alive, maybe. I mean, if he's 100, I don't know. I mean, I was going to say, I don't know many heavy smokers live to be 100, but hell, actually, some do. It's genetics, right? I think that, what was the woman's name? Jean Clement? Is that her name? The oldest woman ever, 122 years old. The woman died in France. Wasn't she 122? Jean Calment. Remember, she's the one that said that she met Van Gogh because Van Gogh would come into her father's. She's old enough, like someone lived like to the 1990s or something, and she was old enough to have remembered Vincent Van Gogh being a smelly, weird guy coming in and buying pencils, colored pencils at her dad's shop. Yes, Jean Calment. Yep, 122 years old. Good Lord. If you poot, you just poot dust when you're 122 years old, don't you? I mean, boy, 122 years old, that's something. Jack the Ripper kept his mouth shut. I mean, well, confessing to murdering prostitutes and gutting them is different than confessing to a cool crime, right? I mean, that's kind of the difference there. I mean, BTK didn't, Zodiac confessed, I guess, but not to friends, we don't think. I mean, there's a difference in murderers confessing and just bank robbers confessing, right? Because remember, Larry Carr said that, remember we were talking about how, earlier we were talking about, I hate when that happens. I had to walk through a door, and if you ever forget something, walk through a door and walk back in. Pro tip, you'll remember what it was. I know what it was. So Larry Carr was telling me that only like 60% of bank robberies in America are actually solved by the FBI. They don't catch. I mean, you can get away with a bank robbery actually if you know what you're doing. The problem is, bank robbery is generally so easy that they do it again. And when they do it again, that's when they catch them. So I think there's three ways that bank robbers are caught, is according to Larry Carr. Is they're caught because they tell people about it, and then those people will tell somebody. Okay, you're caught because you run your mouth. You're caught because you do it again, and they're waiting and they're looking for you this time, and then they catch you in the act. Okay, or third, they're caught during the getaway, or like during the bank robbery itself. So with Cooper, we can't have any of those really, because we don't think Cooper told anybody because, I mean, he could have, but didn't tell a lot of people. Okay. Cooper wasn't caught in the act or leaving, right? And Cooper didn't do it again, seemingly, unless you believe Flyjack. But Cooper didn't do it again, or you're Dan Grider. So it's hard to catch Cooper. Remember, people bitch about the FBI not finding Cooper. How were they going to find Cooper? How? If the only thing the FBI could do, they had a few leads they could follow. They could go, well, we could look into Latino skydiving clubs. Do you know this? Do you recognize this sketch? They did that. They looked into a skydiving club called Pops, which if you were over 40 and you were a skydiver, you could be in Pops. So they checked all the names on Pops. They checked all the Latin Skydivers Club in LA, checked all them. I mean, there's some leads they could have followed. Then they did. The Elsinore Ghost was the one they spent the most time on by far. Okay. But almost 99% of what the FBI could do on Cooper is wait by the phone, wait for the phone to ring. That's all they could do. And then check out whatever lead they had to be given leads by the public. There was not enough information for them to go chase, they ran out, the FBI ran out of self-generated leads very quickly. Skydiving clubs, they checked the bank robbery suspect program, which is smart. So basically, and unknown to me, thankfully I can have Larry Carl on speed dial and say, hey, Larry. But they mentioned the bank robbery suspect program a few times in the FBI files, and they don't mention what it is. What it was is apparently every FBI office has a master list of everybody who has committed a bank robbery in their jurisdiction, maybe ever. And all the ones who are, especially they have a list of all the ones who are on parole in case they do it again, right? So there was a mass memo sent out to all FBI offices saying, hey, check your bank robbery suspect programs for anybody who fits the profile of 5'8" to 6 feet tall or whatever, and olive skin, 40 years old, whatever it was, right? Anybody who could be a possible suspect. So, and they got a few leads from these people from the FBI suspect program. Another thing they did for leads was you'll see them in the FBI files. They say contact your local. They told every FBI agent, I guess in America, I think it was like a all points thing saying talk to your informants about it. And I was like, what does that mean? I texted Larry. I said, hey, Larry, what does this mean? Talk to your informants. Larry says, and I don't know if this is, I guess he's retired. He can say these things, but I didn't know this. But apparently every FBI special agent, I think they have to maintain 2 confidential informants. So part of their job is to have to I don't know how they bully people or whatever, but they have 2 informants. Every FBI agent who investigates crimes has 2 agents, or 2 informants who were snitches, I guess. So you'll see in the FBI files, they say all points bulletin to every FBI office in the country, all whatever there were at the time. Check your bank robbery suspect program and give us anybody who would fit the profile. Also, talk to your informants. Every agent, talk to your informants, ask them about Cooper hijacking. You don't know anything about this. They got nothing out of that. So they tried. And the FBI definitely tried. Would you like the very first artist rendition? I mean, what are you talking about? You're talking about that guy at the top left? I mean, that's your very first one, right? I mean, those are your sketches there. I think I've got a better one. We have a better. It has the dates on it. I think I've got one that has the actual dates that these were. Done. Try to find that for you guys. Oh, for goodness sake. Do I not have the dates on those? I swore I had one that had the dates. There we go. All right. There we go. Let me remove your comment there, dude. Yeah, so initial sketch. I mean, obviously I am partial to composite A. I didn't used to be, but I am a free man. I am able to change my opinions on things. Once I realized that no one had a major problem with composite A days after the hijacking, then okay. But again, remember, Cooper is not going to look like these people. Okay? Cooper will not, no one is going to, the sketches were not created to be like, be on the lookout for this man. Oh shit, I saw that guy. He's on the street. No. Sketches are designed to make people who know the people go, that looks like it could be Dave. Oh, that looks like it could be Bill. Like, they're not supposed to be, they're not supposed to be accurate, okay? I mean, they're not photographs, right? In fact, you can look too much like the sketch. Some people say, oh, William J. Smith looks just like Comp B. Or, Don Burnworth looks just like Composite A. Well, I mean, you look too much like the sketch, actually. I mean, Cooper is going to look like an amalgamation of all of these, probably. I mean, he's probably going to do that, probably going to, Cooper's probably going to be an amalgamation of all those. Of all those different people. So again, sketches are just they're just I mean, I don't know, they're to refresh somebody's memory and go, oh, that looks kind of like Dave, my neighbor. Like, it's not like, look for this man. That's not the point. The FBI wasn't on board, but the Seattle-based DA prosecutor, was a U.S. attorney. DA prosecutor, yeah. He's a U.S. attorney, Larry Feingold, actually. They're not useless. They're to jog your memory. So, like, if you know someone who looks like this, you go, oh, yeah, that guy was a paratrooper. I served with that guy. It's not like be on the lookout for this guy. Because they're not that accurate. They're just to give you an idea of. They're to give the public the idea in case they know someone who is the hijacker. That's what it is. Who was the short Asian passenger? George. Nakamura? Knock you in the head? Knock you cheddar. What is it? What's his name? Let me see. George Kurata. George Kurata was interned in a prison camp during World War II, sadly. Ryan, does Mucklow still live in Oregon? She does not. I don't want to say where she lives, but she doesn't live in Oregon. She's not in Oregon, Professor. She's moved to the other coast of the country. Okay. Who brought the crew meals onto the plane? Well, that would be Miss Tina Mucklow. Brought the crew meals onto the plane. She even asked Cooper if she could cook them, and Cooper said no. So I don't know. So Cooper wanted her to bring the crew meals. So Cooper ordered the crew meals, but then when Tina asked to cook them, Cooper said no. All right. But that was Tina, though. That was Tina who did that. Nice of Cooper to bring the crew meals. They were steaks, apparently. They were steaks, and the dogs ate them. The German Shepherd came on board and ate them up. Oh. Well, lucky you guys. I just gave away an exclusive from my book. Damn you all. Okay. I shouldn't have said that. Okay. Oh, man. I feel stupid. I can't say. What's in the book? It's in the book. Oh, man, turning red. I shouldn't have, I gave something away I shouldn't have. Anyway, okay. Ryan has actually shown me how unlikely any of the Jack the Ripper suspects are. If D.B. Cooper can't be narrowed down, no way we can figure out Jack. Yeah, I mean, come on, really? I mean, my God. Like, we're talking about the 1880s here, right? 1880s. Like, we don't have... Like, how are you ever going to, like... Yeah, if we can't find Cooper, if we can't narrow him down to 50,000 men even... Look, Jack the Ripper was probably, again, he could have just easily been some guy passing through, right? I mean, he's murders only. Well, I'm not a ripperologist, they call them. See, I guess we're Cooperites. See, ripperologists, isn't that what they call people into Cooper? What is there a term? Is there a cute term for Zodiac people? Zodiac people? I don't know. We're Cooperites. Then there's ripperologists, but like, I think that oh my God. This explains a lot. You're a Recca guy, Professor. That's why you think the flight path's bullshit. Have you looked at a map? Why the fuck would that plane have flown anywhere near Clay Elum? In fact, because I know you now are a Recca fool, I will mock you and I will play for everybody just how stupid Recca's dumb ass is.
Yeah. Why did you pick the back door, by the way? Because they had a side door there that says red letters on it right there, open here, and I said I was going to open that right there, and she mentioned that there's that tail door.
Wait, was there no audio there, people? Uh-oh. Where'd I go? Where'd I go? Where am I? I've disappeared. Help! Uh-oh. Hey, can y'all hear me? Can y'all see me? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Where's my camera? Oh, there I am. Okay, my bad. Could y'all hear the Recca audio on Recca? Hear but didn't see it. Huh. I wonder why that is. Let me see if it'll do that again. I don't know why it did that.
Yeah. Why did you pick the back door, by the way? Because they had a side door there that says red letters on it right there, open here, and I said I was going to open that right there, and she mentioned that there's that tail door there, so I said, well, that's fucking good.
So, at first, you were thinking about going out the side door?
Yeah.
And the stewardess actually talked you into going out the tail.
She didn't talk to me, she just mentioned it.
She just mentioned it to you.
Okay. Recca. Professor. Come on, my man. Recca is literally like such a bad suspect. Like, I mean, Recca is insulting to everyone who's a Cooperite. That entire grift, and Lisa's story is a sweetheart, but Recca is an insult to every single person who ever studies Cooper. Why is Recca an insult? Look at a map. Look at Recca himself, a block-headed meat sack. I'm Walter Recca. The man looks like Shrek. Could you possibly imagine? Okay, let's look at this. Could you possibly imagine the absolute, like, sheer blindness, 5-inch thick cataracts? Every witness, every single witness must have had to think that fricking Where is he? Recca. Like, to think that this giant gorilla-nosed clown had this little skinny nose. They said that McCoy's nose was broader than Cooper's. Look at Recca's nose. Look at the nose down there at the bottom. Okay, the 3 stewardesses watched as that nose was drawn on that sketch 2 days after the hijacking. They did not, the sketch artist did not invent that little weird-ass nose. He didn't just invent that. They told him to draw that nose. How do you get that nose with the Recca nose? The sheer stupidity of this. And what about Walter Recca makes you think he could be Latino or Native American or have olive skin? Walter Recca was a block-headed white man who was full of shit his entire life. Like, bona fide bullshitter. Like, his KGB IDs, bogus, like proven false. Okay, the man was a liar. He couldn't even lie properly. He says he jumped in Clay Alum. The plane was never within 80 miles at its closest point to Clay Alum. Like, why would they fly east 80 miles or whatever? Like, no. Okay, yeah, Jeff Asadich, I don't know what he's thinking. He's not a liar. He remembers something like this. Doesn't mean it was Recca, okay? You know, I'm sure that other people have... do you know how many, like, think about this. We have so many times... This isn't the FBI lying. My reaction makes you wonder about you. I'm about to bounce you. Should I bounce this asshole? Like, in fact, I'm going to bounce every Recca person I can. How about that? I've never bounced anybody in this chat. The reaction makes you wonder about you. You're a fool. You're a fool. You do not know the Cooper case. Like, you cannot possibly know the Cooper case. There's a reason why Walter Recca is laughed at by literally every single person in the vortex who actually knows this case. Every single person thinks it's a clown. Like, no one believes in Recca except people who are stupid. They don't. Tell me why you think Recca. Why? Just tell me why. Because did you not hear the audio of Recca saying he was going to jump out the side door? The side door. What, into the fucking engine? And then Tina. So Tina Mucklow goes, oh, no, hijacker. Don't do that. Go out the back stairs. It's much safer. There are levels. An entire town believes it. You know, who cares? An entire town thinks there's a plesiosaur. The town of Inverness thinks there's a plesiosaur living in the lake, living in Loch Ness. Don't mean it's true. Okay, no one cares about Recca. Okay, yeah, you keep talking, dude. I'm not going to bounce you because I don't bounce people, but like, Recca is stupid. Like, Recca's beyond stupid. Not only does he look nothing like Cooper in any way, shape, or form, Cooper was a narrow-faced, dark-complected man who may have looked Latino with a narrow nose. Have you seen the photos of the suspects? Open-minded? I don't need to be open-minded about him. You need to be open-minded about you being wrong. You know, maybe it's a you problem. Right? Maybe you are the problem. Not all of us. Okay? Maybe it's you. Okay? Where do you get only people who do not know this case think it's Walter Recca. Because to think that it's Recca, to think that actually, no, Drew says you're giving him what he wants. No, I'm giving y'all what y'all want, probably. I think y'all sometimes I have to go off. And Recca and McCoy I'm not pissed, Terry. I'm having fun. My blood pressure's not high at all. I'm having a great time. I love screaming at Ryan. I love screaming about Rekka because of how dumb it is. Like, it is preposterous. Is an insult. Because think about every single thing we have to... Who gives a shit? The investigator for Hoffa's murder says it's Rekka. Who cares? I'm sure he's a hardcore Cooper, right? Do you know how many other FBI agents who've said, oh, it's McCoy? There's FBI agents who say it's McCoy. There's FBI agents who say it's Ragshaw. Who cares? They're wrong. Rekka. Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah. Now, I don't bounce people because you've not been disrespectful, but man, there are more fish in the sea than Shrek. Okay? They're Shrek. He is Shrek. I mean, again, look at that nose. Look at Cooper's nose. That nose was drawn with the 3 stewardesses sitting there watching that nose be drawn. They said his nose was small. Let's compare, I don't know. Let's look at let's look at Walter Rekka's nose compared to the noses that the suspects liked. All right, let's try this. These are photographs of suspects whose noses, the passengers said, or the witnesses said, those noses look pretty good. Like little, narrow, pointy noses, and then Rekka's nose hit with a freaking frying pan. I mean, like Bugs Bunny hit him in the face with a frying pan. Like, Cooper's nose was pointy, narrow, long, is what Robert Gregory said, okay? And where's his pouty lower lip? Like, Walter Rekka? I mean, who cares? Tina never signed off on Bing. She didn't. Oh, my bad. Because Tina said she looks 100% like him. See, again, you don't know this case. And that's okay, Professor. A lot of folks don't know this case. But Tina Mucklow, we have her, okay, on what? Was it November 26th, is it? Saying, Sketch looks 100% like him. Okay? 100% like him. So, yeah. It's not Ted Braden either. Prove what? Oh, prove it? You want the document? Okay. See, here's what's funny. This guy doesn't know shit about Cooper. He doesn't know me. You don't know me, sucker. I have receipts. If I say something, I have a receipt for it. I am an attorney. I am trained. I am analytical. I don't make shit up. I have theories, but if I say something, I'm not just making it up. Okay? Like Rekka, who made up everything in his life. Rekka was never in the CIA. Rekka was never FBI informant. Rekka was never in the KGB or Mossad. He was a liar. He was a guy who did not serve in Vietnam because he was too old by then. He was too young to have served in Korea. So he missed out on the war. So guess what? When you miss out on the war and you're some loser like him, you're going to make up shit to make yourself seem important. And that's what Rekka did. There is a Walter Rekka at every VFW hall in the country telling lies about their service because they didn't do shit. That is Walter Rekka. I know lots of Walter Rekkas. A lot of you people know Walter Rekkas too. The man was a liar. Okay, but yeah, let's see. Let's find Tina Mucklow talking about the sketches. Let's see. Where is it? Where can I find old Miss Tina? Where is Tina Mucklow talking about the sketches? Let's see. Where is it? Yeah, we'll bring it up here. Oh, here we go. I mean, I guess, but see, watch his reaction, people. This guy's reaction when I show him from an actual FBI document what Tina said. Tell me, what do y'all think he's going to say? What do y'all think this guy's reaction is going to be? Oh, well, the FBI said it. Can't believe them. That's what Dan Grider said, right? That's what Dan Grider said. Right? Can't believe them. We can't believe what the FBI said. I mean, I showed Dan Grider 50 documents proving he's wrong. Well, those are FBI documents. You can't believe that shit. You can't actually believe what the FBI says. Watch this. Let's see what he says here. I'm showing you from an actual FBI document what Tina Mucklow said. On 11/27/71, Stewardess Mucklow, while viewing the original sketch, said it was almost 100% like him and stated that she could suggest nothing additional to make the sketch a better likeness. Okay. Actually, you're probably going to say, he's going to say one of two things. He's going to say that this is FBI propaganda, we can't trust them. Or he's going to say, oh, she's actually talking about the first sketch. Which is not true because we know what she said about the first sketch. There we go. Ding, 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 ding. The Rekka grift shows itself again. The original sketch. No, because guess what? We have her comments on the original sketch too. Ding, 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 ding. The original sketch. That's right. So Tina's, yes, that's right. Let's see. Let me find that. Here we go. Yes. The original sketch. Because that's all the Rekka people can say. Because they know that how bad. Like, why did they redo the sketch? Yes, exactly. More FBI stuff? I can't believe them. Yes. Can't believe the FBI. I don't know, it's what the FBI says. You can believe the FBI. Well, if you believe the FBI. God, I hate people like this. I mean, I truly do. If you believe the FBI. Like, I mean, is that really how pathetic it is? Really? Here we go. Tina Mucklow on the original sketch. Let's see. She says that the original sketch, the initial sketch, which wasn't drawn with anybody helping out. It was just drawn willy-nilly. No one was there helping out the sketch artist. Drawing is a good likeness of the hijacker. Great. Then we have her saying, this looks 100% like him. Okay? We know what she said. Okay? We also know what the other stewardesses said about the stupid Walter Rekka. That doesn't even look like Walter Rekka anyway. That's what's so funny about it. Here we go. Let's see. Sorry, folks. Let's see what Flo says about these sketches. All right. Here's what Flo says about the sketches. Well, if you believe what the FBI says, the girl said. Flo, original sketch, initial sketch. She is very adamant in her insistence that the artist's conception was not a good likeness of the hijacker. Then we go to Bing. Schaffner's remarks, likes the drawing very much. So, I'm acting like I'm paid to diss. Well, you're acting like a fool. Like, that's all. I'm not paying. Like, I know this case. You don't. Okay? You don't. You think Cooper jumped 80 miles from where the plane ever was. You think Cooper was going to jump out the side door until the stewardess saved his life. Okay? You think one of the biggest liars out there. Oh, yeah, he's a jewel thief, too. The whole book coming out. Rekka was. So Rekka is KGB. He's Mossad. He's also. He's a double agent for KGB. He was Mossad. He was in whatever the British one is, MI6. He was in MI6. He said he was MI6. Yes. He was CIA. He was an FBI informant. He was also a jewel thief in Africa. Oh, and he's D.B. Cooper, who was going to jump out the side door until the stewardess saved his life and was going to jump out in Clay Ellum. Or jumped out in Clay Ellum. 80 miles, he teleported. He fell into a literal vortex. He was transported. Yes. Maybe Doc Brown showed up in the DeLorean. Walter, jump in! And Walter landed in Doc Brown's DeLorean and they flew off to Clay Ellum or something. Right? I mean, Rekka is preposterously stupid. And it's an insult to everyone, okay, who knows this case. Okay, it's not Rekka. Okay, Cooper was a narrow-faced, dark-complected, tall man with a skinny nose, a fat lower lip, and a turkey neck. Walter Rekka is a block-headed Michigander with spiky blonde hair and blue eyes, who is a known habitual liar. Okay, Rekka is so bad, just so bad that it's funny. And for anyone to believe in Rekka, you just don't know the case. Because you have to literally say that everything out there is wrong to believe that Rekka was Cooper. I mean, think about that. You have to believe that everything, the flight path is so wrong. Oh yeah, the radar, our air defense was that jacked up that they were 80 miles off. Our nuclear defense, 80 miles off, okay? You have to believe that Cooper didn't care what plane was going to hijack. It could have been any plane. He was going to jump out the side door. You have to believe that. It's preposterous, okay? And again, I've even said Walter Rekka would be a good suspect if he looked more like Cooper and if we don't have him saying he jumped in Clay Ellum. Okay? Because, Rekka was a skydiver and a thief. Okay? Sure, he's a plausible suspect, but not really. Okay? The man was a man couldn't even lie straight. His lie is bad. So, okay. All right. Clay Ellum is in the flight path to Reno. Okay, so let me just ask this. Okay. We have the air traffic control real-time transcripts. 305, where are you? We're approaching the DME near Salem, Oregon. We know where the fucking plane was. Because we have air traffic control transcripts of them communicating. Okay, you have all that stuff. We have the Air Force print off of the flight path to a quarter-mile zone. Okay? We have the pilots saying, we flew down 5023 Airway. We have audio recordings. Take the Victor 23 Airway. Nowhere near Clay Ellum. So, the pilots are lying. The air traffic control transcripts are all made up. It's my channel. I'm just having fun. Okay, enough of this Rekka stuff. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry for y'all. Hey, I've got stuff y'all are watching. But, no. Literally everything would have to be wrong to be Rekka. I mean, everything. The witness statements are wrong. Yes, Trump has me dropping F-bombs now. Sorry, folks, for the kids watching. Yes. Yes. Everything is wrong. We're all wrong. I mean, the air traffic control is wrong. The Air Force radar is wrong. The pilots are wrong. The Northwest Airlines radio transcripts of them communicating are wrong. Let's see. The flight crew's wrong. The stewardesses are wrong. I mean, literally all the eyewitnesses are wrong. I mean, everything is wrong. For Rekka to be Cooper. Or maybe he's just not Cooper. You know how many millions of men? Oh, they're just under the influence of the FBI. Okay, we're done. All right. So, sorry for that 30-minute tangent. I owe you guys 30 minutes of real talk. So, okay, let me see if I can get away from the Recca stuff. Never seen me worked up like this. Well, then you never saw me and Eric get into it. Me and Eric got into it about flight path stuff a couple times. Those of you might remember that. About the rubber bands, right? Eric saying that bank type bands is rubber bands. Like, what? Okay. All right. Who is? I can't tell you how do I know who DB Cooper is? I don't know who DB Cooper is. I know who it ain't. It's not Recca. Or Pekka, my bad. Walter Pekka was his real name. It wasn't Walter Pekka. All right. Brad, tell him it's McCoy. All right. What if Mucklow was in on it? Come on, really? Let's not go there. Well, here's another thing too. If you were being conspiracy minded about Tina Mucklow being in on it, if that's true, why did he pass the note to Flo? Right? Flo was Cooper's first choice to be his go-between between the flight crew and himself, right? If Mucklow was in on it, then he would have just given it to her first. See? So, because he didn't know that Flo was going to freak out. Remember, we have Cooper looking up the aisle waiting for Flo to return. She never did. So, no, even if you wanted to go that route to say that Tina was in on it, doesn't work. All right. The problem with Ted Braden, again, he's short. I mean, I've been ostracized, apparently. I have been kicked out of one of the Facebook groups. I didn't even post there. But I was kicked out of I guess I'm a Braden apostate now. Like, I'm like a Muslim who is an apostate. That the Braden folks want to behead me now, I guess. Drew Breeson has unfriended me on Facebook. I'm like, what? I've never had a crossword with him in my life. But I guess because I don't think that Ted Braden was DB Cooper. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be honest with you people. I'm not just going to sugarcoat this, right? Ted Braden is little. All right? Look at Ted here. Little. That guy's short. All right? Look at the other guys are probably like 5'10" or 5'9" or something, right? Like the average, they're all the average height of like the guys back then, I would guess, right? So and Ted is short and stocky. Yet, gate agent says Cooper's 6'1" plus. Florence Schaffner says 6 feet tall. Tina Mucklow goes up to 6 feet tall. The other guy goes up to 5'11". So Cooper was taller than the average person of his time, clearly, because that's what they said. Okay. The people who saw him standing thought he was tall. Flo's first impression, when Flo goes to the cockpit to describe Cooper, while Cooper is still sitting in the back, she says 6'1". Where would you get 6'1" from this dude? And I hate it because I love Ted Braden. But, I like McCoy too. You can make a great movie out of McCoy. You can make a hell of a movie out of Braden. I wish they would make a movie out of Braden. I don't think he's Cooper. Just don't think he's Cooper. Oops. Let's see. My Eric sessions were epic. Yeah, and again, Eric and me are friends, so I think that's where it's almost like wrestling. Wrestlers are buddies when they go backstage, right? Me and Eric are buddies, actually. But I text and message Eric and we'll call each other, but we did get into it. What did we do about the air traffic controller who talked to the pilot? Well, which one? There were several, right? Steve, there was Ammerman was, I think Ammerman was the air traffic controller, maybe from Seattle to Portland. I feel like he handed it off after Portland, right? Okay. Mucklow felt guilty about the cover-up and entered a monastery. No, actually, that's not why she entered a monastery. There is a private reason that we think she no. No. Like Mucklow continued to work at the Mucklow didn't join a monastery for 10 years after the hijacking. So why? Who is my number one suspect? I can't say that. Sorry. I don't really have one. Anyway, they're all flawed to some degree. Ryan, you should do an episode on Kirko and our partner that robbed the plane. It'd be Roger Holder would be our partner. They were released to the Black Panthers. The guy was later arrested. Catherine then fled the country. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's funny. That's kind of funny. They were released to where'd they land in? Libya, right? Or Libya or Tunisia, I forget which one. One of those countries. And all their money was promptly seized by the authorities there. Oops. So Joe Lakich seemed like a great dad. I hope it wasn't him. Yeah, look, and Lakich adopted his daughter. When his daughter was murdered in that hijacking a month earlier, he adopted the baby and raised. Susan Lakich is still around. She lives somewhere. I know where she lives, yeah, Lakich is not a good. I respect Bill Rollins a lot. I like Bill. He's a good dude, but no, Lakich. I don't understand. If your daughter was killed in a hijacking a month earlier, why would you go hijack a plane and threaten to kill other men's daughters, right? If that was your grudge that the FBI killed your daughter in a hijacking, why would you go then threaten other men's daughters? That doesn't make much sense. Yes, perfect. Thank you, Edward. Did law enforcement check out missing persons reports? Absolutely. Let me see if I always try to give you guys a little bit of my book. Whenever I'll read from my book sometimes. It's like Mr. Rogers here. I need to get me a yellow sweater on, and I'll look up the missing person stuff. Let's see. Yeah. So here it's story time. Here we go. Okay. If you guys don't mind, or do you mind? Do you want to read my part about the missing persons or not? So I'll read it to you if y'all want, but or I can just talk about it. But I agree with you. D.B. Cooper is not any of the suspects. Yeah, I agree. Probably not. Let's see. Yeah, I agree. Tina's 5'8". Braden was at least barefoot. Braden was probably shorter than Tina. So imagine however tall you are. Tina went up to 6 feet tall for Cooper. Okay, however tall you are, I don't know. I'm 6'1". Try to imagine me thinking somebody is 6'5", and they're actually shorter than me. Nobody's that far off on height measurements. Come on. That just seems kind of crazy. Your theory on the grudge, he was pissed that the pepperonis on his pizza didn't show up. Yeah, I know. Braden, when Braden was arrested, he was eyeballed at 5'6", I think. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think the cops eyeballed him at 5'6" when they took his measurements. But again, he was older then, so people do shrink when they're older. But Braden was not a big guy. Just my thought. All right. So I won't read too much of the missing person stuff, but I say, although the likelihood of the hijacker perishing that night was statistically very low, it was still a logical tactic for agents to investigate missing persons reports. A dead Cooper likely would have been missed by someone in his life and would have eventually been reported missing. Yet there is no guarantee that a dead Cooper is ever missed by his family or friends. Special Agent Ralph Himmelsbach put it succinctly, quote, "When guys like that aren't around, they're not missed because when they are around, they're trouble." On the flip side, Cooper doesn't need to have died in the jump to end up being reported missing. He might have abandoned his family prior to the hijacking or just vanished afterward to start a new life. Dead or alive, missing persons reports were a reasonable place to look. These efforts first began back at the start of the investigation. On December 28, 1971, a bulletin from the FBI director was sent to Portland, Seattle, Sacramento, and Las Vegas. This bulletin directed them to request that the local law enforcement agencies within their jurisdictions review their missing persons reports for a possible match to the hijacker's description. Despite several dozen police departments and sheriff's offices being contacted, this strategy produced no logical suspects and the issue was shelved. However, this search occurring in December 1971 might have been premature, as not enough time had passed since the hijacking for families and friends to report the hijacker missing. By March 1977, case agents felt that enough time had passed for the topic to be revisited. The Bureau of Missing Persons was contacted and asked to review all of their reports that were submitted in November and December 1971, as well as for the entire year of 1972. Upon examination, it was revealed that 5,166 were reported missing during that time frame. Eliminating females, people of different races, and also those who were obviously too young, agents were left with 21 possible matches. These matches even included men who were well outside the hijacker's general description, with men making the cut who were as short as 5'6" and as tall as 6'2". Yet again, a thorough review of these 21 individuals produced no viable suspects. All right. Yep, so there. Missing persons. Did men wear heel shoes in 71? Yes. Think about like the Beatle boots, right? The little Beatle bit. I think they called them British wanker boots. That's what I remember seeing this listed as before. Yeah, if DNA evidence was around, he would have been in trouble, sure. Because the problem with DNA though, even if you have DNA, they have to have it to compare something to, right? It's got to be in a database somewhere. So, it's got to be in a database somewhere. And if you're this is true. When you're arrested if you're arrested federally right now, they take your DNA. Okay, they take your fingerprints and your DNA if you're arrested federally, which is interesting. So the federal database, I forget what it's called for DNA, but there is a federal database for criminals for DNA. Lost the cigarette butts? No. They destroyed the cigarette butts. Again, shows what you know about the case. We have them saying that they destroyed them for lacking evidentiary value, likely in December of 1971. If you believe what the FBI says. But that's what they said. We have a document saying we have a document saying that they destroyed the cigarette butts for lacking evidentiary value because all they did with the cigarette butts was to look for fingerprints and to make sure it was Raleigh cigarettes on all of them. Okay. If you believe them. They destroyed them because they were cigarettes, and this was in 1971. What were they going to do with smushed cigarettes in 1971? What? They shouldn't have destroyed them because that is a violation of the spoliation of evidence rule in the law. They shouldn't have destroyed them, but they did. They threw them in the trash. Vegas office. Okay. If you believe the FBI. So what's funny? Here's what's funny about this, right? Either the FBI, you've read virtually every book out there, and you think it's Recca. You've read virtually every book out there, yet you still think it's Recca. So why even read these books? Because everything in them is wrong, right? Because everything has to be wrong for Recca to be Cooper. Everything. Here's the problem. You don't know, though. Here's the thing. You don't know. Was the FBI inept or just crooked? It's like almost like that GIF or the meme of the guy like sweating which button to push. Oh, God, is the FBI stupid or are they crooked? I can't figure it out. No, they're not crooked. They're just people. Okay, the FBI, that was stupid. You read them all first. Oh, you read them all first. And then you decided it was Rekha. Why? What, the blue eyes and spiky hair and square head and jumping 80 miles away from the plane, where the plane ever even was? Okay, I'm done. Am I saying not to believe Cooper? No, Cooper books are fine. Don't believe Rekha books. Okay. The books are fine. Blue eyes are not on the table. Dark blue eyes are on the table. By the way, Alan, when are you going to come on my show and talk about Forrest Fenn? Forrest Fenn is an infinitely better suspect than Rekha, I'll say that. Seriously, Alan, you should come on my show and talk about Forrest Fenn. I would love to hear you talk about Forrest Fenn. All right. Let's see. I'm kind of piddling out here. Good, Alan. We will hook it up. Yes, there were colored contacts. They had just come out around that time. But, you know. Why would I call him names? I only call Rekha people names because of how ridiculous it is. Because you don't live in our reality. Like you don't exist in the reality of Cooperites if you actually think that it was Rekha. Because again, everything is wrong for it to be Rekha. Like the pilots are wrong. They're full of shit. FBI is full of shit. Air Force is full of shit. Passengers are full of shit. Air traffic control is full of shit. Northwest Airlines is full of shit. Everyone is full of shit except the guy who is habitually known to be full of shit, Walter Rekha. So again, it's a you thing, not an us problem at this point. All right. Yes, my book isn't out yet. It's called D.B. Cooper, the FBI Files. Let's go. D.B. Cooper, the FBI Files, Inside the FBI's Longest Manhunt. Who the fuck is Barry Seal? Why would I care about Barry Seal? Who's Barry Seal? Remind me who Barry Seal is. Obviously not important enough for me to know who he is. So, I mean, I can tell you who took the friggin' phone call at Northwest Airlines. So I don't know who Barry Seal is. So tell me who Barry Seal is. And why should I care who Barry Seal is? And why would Barry Seal's existence make the FBI, the Air Force, the passengers, the flight attendants, the crew, the air traffic control? Why would everybody be wrong because of Barry Seal? Tell me who Barry Seal is. American made? So what? Rekha knew a crook? Great. Congratulations. A lot of our suspects knew other famous crooks. Big deal. Yes, Barry Seal, what American made, what Tom Cruise's character, is that what it is? I never saw that movie. So because he knew a crook, or claimed he knew a crook. Remember, Rekha also claimed that he was Jimmy Hoffa's driver. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't say he shot Lincoln too. Yeah, I shot Lincoln. I was gonna shoot him in an arcade, but I was stopped by Secret Service and said, "Go shoot him in the head in the theater." I mean, liar, man. Anyway, the book though is I got a couple literary agents who were talking about it, who were interested. So they're kind of like going back and forth on it. Am I saying who wasn't connected? Barry Seal? No. Why would he? Why? This again. Who cares? Like, why would Barry Seal be involved? Yeah. No. I don't think so. Again, especially because our books are probably going to be like the New Testament and the Old Testament of Cooper, I think. Bruce's book's the Old Testament, mine's going to be the New Testament, I think. John Wilkes Booth was framed. Well, see, John Wilkes Booth was actually in Cle Elum that night. There was a roving cowboy singer who drove a garbage truck or a dump truck who saw John Wilkes Booth come out of the woods. Where you been? I've been walking around. Yep, so. Okay, my book, though, I'm in writing in support of the FBI. I know, here we go. FBI propagandist. That's right. Well, fair enough. Call me what you want. At least I'm not in denial. That's fine. William Max, Max, who are you? So far tonight, you've said Recca was Cooper. You've said Braden was Cooper. You've said Rackstraw was Cooper. You've said McCoy was Cooper. And now you're saying Gossett was Cooper. Yeah. Let's see. Let me see. I'll show y'all. I think we've got the book cover pretty flashed on the screen. Yeah, who else? Max is like, who else? You've also said Lakich was Cooper too. I think, right? Isn't that what you said? It was Lakich was also Cooper? That's not right. Where is my, sorry, I'm petering out because I'm trying to find my book cover for you guys because it looks pretty cool. Assuming that's what the publishing company keeps, which I've told them to keep it. I will have that in. I will son of a bitch. Where's my daggone book cover? Can't find my book cover, folks. I am really sorry about that. Where? Oh, here it is. Okay, my bad. I think this is it. Yes, here we go. Not out yet, obviously, but hopefully by CooperCon. I hope that they'll publish it, but there we go. Here's it very briefly. I won't put it up there. There you go. DB Cooper, the FBI files. They look inside the FBI's longest manhunt. There we go. So, yes. Recca Free, by the way, my propaganda book. It's all propaganda, of course, because, they have to cover up that Walter Pecka was D.B. Cooper, right? So let's make up everything. Let's have 85,000 pages to cover up the fact of FBI files to cover up the fact that Cooper, that Recca was Cooper. Yes. All right. Tina did not every time I think about this case, I get angry. No way, man. No way. I love this case. I don't get angry. I'm not even angry. I think that if I've ever been genuinely angry about discussing the Cooper case with anybody. Not really. Because the thing about Cooper is none of us really know. None of us really know. So, let's see. If I missed it earlier, but what's the latest CooperCon news? Oh, I'm going to have a show probably this month, later on this month, in a couple weeks, about CooperCon with Packer. Me and Packer will talk about it. And like I said, we're trying to get the premiere of the Martin McNally movie. So Max movie is going to be coming out, and we're trying to get the premiere to happen there, which would be fun. That would be really cool. Let's see. I will show you guys just because it's quick. For those who missed it, we will watch it again. We will watch it. We will watch the trailer again for the we'll watch the trailer again real quick. How about that? for the Mac movie. But we're trying to get this. We're trying to have this premiered at CooperCon. We're talking to the producers about doing that this month. So hopefully we'll have some news about that. Here is watch it again. This is the trailer for the Martin McNally movie coming out.
It was an ordinary flight turned extraordinary when a man in black, registered as D.B. Cooper, made a bomb threat.
Can you hear me on the headphone?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. It was the D.B. Cooper case that changed my life. I thought that's the way to do a score. Don't panic. Do what I say and follow my instructions. I don't know that they've got 5 sharpshooters on me.
And it went through my mind, we can jump him.
I can feel the air going through my fingers. And I was thinking, boy, this is balls.
That car took off towards that airplane, and it was very, very clear to all of us that it's going to crash into that plane.
Martin McNally meets another skyjacker.
Garrett Trapnell was evil.
Cut! Let's get the hell out of here.
Mac. The man. God, we love Mac, don't we? Mac is a true treasure, and hopefully, if we get this going, hopefully Mac will be back at CooperCon. Mac was a big hit last time at CooperCon, and hopefully he'll be back again. And as I said, hopefully we're working on trying to get Rob Hetty to be there. So hopefully at CooperCon this year we can have a very good suspect reveal. We will have some more Tom K stuff. We're gonna have, hopefully we'll have the premiere of this movie, or we will be showing it at least, I'm pretty sure. Mac will be there hopefully, and hopefully Rob Hetty. So we should have the only 2 surviving true copycats there. Would be my hope. So we'll see. I know that Packer Jack is going to have a bunch of new Skip Hall stuff there. I guess there won't be any Braden stuff there because I've been ostracized by Drew Beeson. I don't know why, but I would have had Drew Beeson come back and talk more about Braden, but okay. So, yeah. And, of course, we're still trying to get some people like throwing in the wind, trying to get people like Alice or Flo or somebody to come. That'd be great. You never know. Oh, yeah, and Brian Ingram, I think. Brian's going to be there, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I mean, he said he was going to come a few months ago, so hopefully he'll still be coming. So Brian Ingram will be there. You can meet Brian. We can take a field trip to Tina Bar. I think we'll do that. We've got a hydrologist coming to talk about Tina Bar stuff. And who knows what else will happen before then. So, anyways, that's I'm going to end it there because, my God, 3.5 hours. And I never thought I would talk about Rekka this long. But here we are, talking about Walter Pekka. All right, Ashton, my wife and I are very excited. Ashton, that's great. I'm looking forward to you guys coming. Hopefully we'll have a lot of new faces this time. It's really cool. Dana, thank you. Yes, CooperCon is cool, guys. Like, it is really cool to meet these people if you're a nerd. And also, look, especially, Seattle was fine, but CooperCon's home is in the Kiggins Theater in Vancouver. All right, I mean, that is Cooper country, right? That is Cooper country. I mean, we have Drop Zone's near there, Tina Bar's near there, PDX is near there. So CooperCon's really the it's balls, as you heard Mac just say. Oh, this is balls. I love Mac. One last thing. Abdullah says, Ryan, you said there was some efforts for DNA on the remaining parachutes, the shroud lines. Any progress there? Nope. We tried that. Sissy, that would be wonderful. Sissy, please come. Like, seriously, come meet. Like, there was a line out the door to get pictures with McNally last time, because I mean, McNally really is, if he comes, he is the closest thing we have to DB Cooper on earth, and he won't be around forever. And it is very cool to talk to a real life DB Cooper. Okay, so, but Abdullah, as far as the parachutes go, the FBI didn't want to give us anything, and we even had Colleen Fitzpatrick, one of the leading DNA experts in the world, on our team trying to get the FBI to do it, and they were just bored. So, yep. Oh my God. If you actually think there were 200,000 hunters, and why would I read the burglary? Some researcher. All right, you're done. Bye, fella. Yes, it'll be an honor to drive Mac around wherever he wants to go, just like last time. Yep. That's great. If this gets solved, all these chats go away. Yes, and I will breathe happily. Yeah, I will breathe happily. Yes, look it up. Yes. Yes. Please email me. My email is on my website, norjack.org. Please email me where you got 200,000. So 10% of the population of the state was in Clark County looking for Cooper in the woods. Okay. Please. Yep. Anyway. All right. Well, that's all I've got for today, folks. So like and subscribe and all that YouTube-y stuff. And Professor Hoodoo, thanks for the entertainment. And please email me where you get 200,000 hunters in the woods. Yes, hunting is huge. I'm from Mississippi. I know what hunting is. That's great. But we don't have 200,000 hunters in the woods looking for Cooper. Okay, what woods? How could it even fit? 200,000 people couldn't even fit hunting in up there in Clark County. And I said, what now you've downgraded to 190,000? Anyway, all right. Bye-bye, folks. I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.